Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another edition of J Street Sports. Today, we're going to talk about what's going on tonight. Got a big fight, Isaac Dobe against Joet Gonzalez for, I believe, the WBO International and Title Eliminator. We're one of the sanctioning bodies. Doesn't even matter. But so we're going to have a couple guys come in. We're going to discuss that. Also, we're going to talk about Jake Paul versus Hasim Rockman Jr. What's going on, brother Junebug?
Man, what's going on with you, man?
Ain't too much, man. We about to get here and chop it up a little bit about the fight tonight, Dobe against Joet. And we also going to talk about Hasim Rockman against Jake Paul. The second fight gonna be coming up, and then any and everything, whatever, it don't matter. It's open forum for what else we want to talk about. So I'm gonna give my little thoughts on the fight tonight, the Joet. First of all, let me start off by saying why this fight not on regular ESPN, man? Like, come on, man. You know, I get that the guys want to have an app. Matter of fact, you know, I believe Showtime show all their fights on the app, but it's also on regular Showtime as well. So this could be on ESPN. You know, what do they have on? If they got something on ESPN1, they could put it on ESPN2. Last time I checked, they got ESPNU. They got, you know, so the ESPN3 putting it on the app. I understand what everybody's saying. Oh, you could put the app on the TV. You could do this. You could do that. But also, you come into the situation of, you know, it's people out there, man, that don't know how to do that. You know?
That's what I was just about to say. See, some apps are different from a regular. See, you can download the Showtime app and watch the fight. But if I'm not mistaken, like the ESPN app was one of the other apps too, to whereas and you still got to have some kind of cable provider.
Absolutely.
So you may, if you ain't got no cable provider, and you say, "Well, I still want to watch this fight," you messed up anyway because you got on there and you can't get to it. So, but with the apps, man, I think it's a new wave that they're trying to go into, and who knows what kind of money or what kind of deal they may have, and saying, "Okay, let's put it on this app here," and what kind of money may be coming in through them just saying, well, "Let's put the money on this fight here."
Because right. Jamira, what my light? Yes. You are absolutely right. And also, we know that they got, you know, definitely they're getting paid for it. There's no doubt about it. But the other thing is, to me, if, you know, an app is there for, you know, major fights, you know what I'm saying, where you want so many eyes on that particular fight, that, you know what I'm saying, that you're going to open up that. You open it up all forms. Because, look, man, Isaac Dobe and Joet are good fighters, but they're diehard fans that know them. You know, they're not household fans. And if I ain't mistaken, the ESPN app costs $5 or $6 a month. You know, so not only does a person has to sign up for it, they also have to you know, like you say, go through, I'm with Time Warner Cable, I'm with Xfinity, I'm with this company, I'm with DirecTV, I'm with Dish Network, whoever you with, I'm with Sling TV. And then you got to do all that. It's just a tedious thing, man. But, you know.
And keep up with the subscriptions every month.
Right.
Unless, because you know what I'm saying, let's say ESPN app may only put out maybe, let's say, a good fight every 3 months. Well, what you pay, but you paying for the app the other 2 months, so you gotta throw that in.
Absolutely, and that means you got to watch things that you don't even want to watch. Like you don't want to watch the badminton game or an off-brand college baseball game, or you know what I'm saying. So whatever, some NBA game from 25 years ago. So you don't, you know. So I agree with you, man. You just want to get. You know, a lot of people want what they want, and they want to pay for something, and that's it. They want to have some, you know, fights be coming in. It's like the DAZN app. I mean, that thing is good because at one time it was putting out so many fights that I think that it gave people didn't even care that these fights weren't that good and competitive. They just liked the fact that it's fights all the time. But once that slowed down, they wanted great fights. You get what I'm saying?
Because it was new, and you know how it is.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is flashy and new. The Zone
Exactly.
came out. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but it was kind of like one of the first boxing apps to whereas and so when they first came out, it piqued people's interest. And then of course, all this stuff is about marketing, being smart, and selling to the
Absolutely.
consumer. So when they first developed it, the Zone made it their business to say, hey, we got to make some pretty decent fights for at least the first year because we got to sell this app. After we get them hooked the first year and stuff like that, we can put a good fight out every once a
Right.
year.
Every once in every one blue moon, we'll give
Yeah.
you a good one. Because to my knowledge, the biggest, fight, the most important thing that has happened on the Zone was Andy Ruiz stopping Anthony Joshua.
Joshua.
And that was what, 19 now, or 19 or 20? I want to
Uh-huh.
say 2019. So that was their big hurrah,
And
and
it's funny you said that because I didn't mean to cut you off, but you
no,
talking
go
about
ahead.
you got a good boxing mind. Think about it now. Just think about it. When you purposely do something and you do it by by mistake. You ever been in the gym before and you shoot a
Mhm.
full court shot and you like, oh snap!
Right, like you wasn't expecting that to go in.
Baby, Andy Ruiz wasn't expected to beat Anthony Joshua, which turned
No,
that into a big fight. So you
yeah,
got to look at it if that was purposely, because honestly, that fight was set up to be one of them. And Anthony
showcase.
Ruiz won.
Right, because they had got so much hype around Anthony Joshua and Big Baby Miller,
Hmm.
and that's when Big Baby had tested positive,
Positive.
and they had to get Andy Ruiz on short notice. So it was a little bit of buzz, but like you say, it was Anthony Joshua come to New York showcase fight. I guess they were doing it like when Prince Nassim came to New York and beat Kevin Kelly. You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like a lot of the British fighters fights I'm talking about and promoters, they all carry the same blueprint that was done 20 and 30 years ago. But a lot of boxing minds don't really see that. Okay, because this thing was done before when Prince Nassim, like I said, came to America. So that was the Anthony Joshua coming to America to fight a loudmouth New Yorker like Kevin Kelly. Jarrell Miller was a big, you know what I'm saying? And like you
Hmm.
say, it was by mistake because nobody saw Andy Ruiz coming into that fight, and they definitely didn't see him winning.
Hmm.
And you
Yep.
think about it, one guy is shaped like a god, and the other guy was shaped,
Like
what
a
I'm saying?
damn
I'm gonna try to
peanut.
be nice, like Andy Ruiz. And look at what happened. So he shook up the world that night, shook it all
Hmm.
the way to the core.
Yep, and actually, he probably extended his career about 4 years. I mean, just being
Yeah,
honest with you, because if he don't win that fight there, this fight with Luis Ortiz don't even seem, you know,
feasible.
halfway interesting.
Right.
You kind of like, but now that he did that, you be like, now people thinking, well, Luis Ortiz got to be careful because Andrew Reed can,
Yeah,
so and that happens in sports,
absolutely. Absolutely it do. And man, like you said, I mean, Ruiz, he did that, but since then, I mean, what has he done? He lost the rematch, fired his two trainers in a row. I mean, so he got paid, and sometimes, man, and it ain't just in boxing; it's in life. I
I was
mean,
gonna use that analogy.
yeah. If people get a job where they go from making 17, $18 an hour and now they making $60 an hour, their work ethic might be a whole lot different than it was when they were, on the way up, let's call it.
Same thing. I'm finna use a basketball analogy. If
Go ahead.
somebody
Yeah.
hit if somebody hit 50 points one game there, and it shocked the world, man. Did you see old boy put up 60 points? Well, he's
Ooh,
not a 60-point scorer. So the next 10 games, you upset when he scores 17 points a game, looking like,
absolutely.
oh man. So Andy
Absolutely.
Reid looked, man, because he's not that kind of fighter. He kind of caught. And I think that was the beginning of a lot of stuff started coming out, or a lot of things started getting told about Anthony Joshua. That was the beginning of the exposure of him to where people really was like, "You're not that good." You know what I'm saying? You really
Right.
not where you're supposed to be. And I see why
Right.
you didn't make that Deontay Wilder fight.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so
Yeah. Because I always looked at that fight that it would look a lot like the Dominic Brazil fight. I couldn't see Deontay Wilder landing a big right hand and the fight not ending right then. I've always felt the first big right hand that lands, I couldn't
it's
see
gone.
Anthony. I think he was going to be gone. I think it was going to be a concussion. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like I tell guys, man, fighting sometimes is about just the matchup. It doesn't necessarily say that fighter B is so much better than A. It just means that you were tailor made for him. You know what I'm saying? And your career might not be what his career is, but you will always be able to beat him. And Deontay Wilder will always be able to knock
That's a
out
good.
Anthony Joshua.
That's a good example. I mean, don't get me wrong. Another example I use that most people may be familiar with is
Mm-hmm.
you can say Earl Spence, Sean Porter, and Terrence Crawford. Now
Right.
everybody want to look at that fight there, and
Mm-hmm.
you almost say, "Well, look what Bud did to him." Well, I look at it as two ways. I
Mm-hmm.
honestly feel like Sean Porter was 1 foot out. He kind of hinted that, but he fought, so I won't take that away from him. But you look at that type of fight where it's the matchups and things like that, as far as whereas and well, everybody knows Earl Spence more as a fast starter and more of a pick up the pace type of guy. So that fight seemed it very more hectic with him and Sean in those rounds. Whereas Terrence Crawford always been known to be sort of a slow starter, but not as far as faster. So you can look at those two fights and try to gauge those two people, but honestly, you can't do that because the styles of both of those two fighters. If you look at boxing, no boxer won't let you use that fight as a measuring stick
Right.
because what I'm saying, to me, because of how they both fight. Now, if they were both very similar, you can look at it and stuff like that, but they're not similar at all to me.
Right. Definitely not. And I mean, and again, I think we so close to having that fight announced. I've been saying it since the beginning. I didn't care what everybody was saying. I didn't even care what they were saying. I just always felt like this fight was there to be made, and I still do. And I think we're gonna be real close to being able to break this thing down now for knowing a date that's gonna be behind it.
You know what? I really want to have. Now, let me tell you something. 3 months ago, three
Mm-hmm.
months ago, I had that energy. I had that fire in my belly, right? But
Uh.
after this recently,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there is some kind of major roadblock or kind of reservation on one part or maybe both part sides. But I'm gonna say one part because I look at it and I understand,
Mm-hmm. Go
the
ahead. I'm
steps and
listening.
stuff. I understand steps and stuff to it. Whereas in you look at it as far as okay, you're not gonna put that fight around Canelo's time. You know what I'm saying on that weekend there. Okay, so if
Right.
Canelo's the biggest draw, you don't announce that fight or put it around there. So I understand that. But even to the point now, because like I said, we're finna go into August, right? And in the next week is August. So if you're
Absolutely.
gonna have that fight now in any time, especially in October.
No, I think it's
Right.
November,
Yeah,
December.
that's what I was just about to say. So now that let me know you got to be going into November or December because if you're gonna have that fight in October, most of your
Mhm.
training camps are what you want to say 6 weeks, maybe a little bit longer.
Right.
So if you're
8.
gonna have that, yeah, 8 weeks. So
Mhm.
if you're gonna have that fight in October, it should be announced now. You know what I'm saying? Because next week you're going into August. Next week is August the 1st. 4 weeks
Right.
from that, for 8 weeks from now is October. You know what I'm saying? So you want to start letting it buzz on the fight that big there. You want that fight to at least be announced 3 months before because the anticipation is going to sell that fight itself. You want to start seeing both of them on social media platforms. You want to start seeing the talk. You're probably going to have places where they're going to try their best because it's a big fight. The
Hold on a
bracket
second.
clubs.
How you doing, Mr. Steph? All right, go
I'm good,
ahead.
Julius. I'm good, sir.
Yeah.
All
What's
right.
going on, man?
I'm good, Jumbo. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm good, man. You know, the Breakfast Club probably gonna want to interview him. So now that
Right.
fight hasn't been signed, that lets me know now you either got a big major roadblock or you looking at the end of the year, like you say, you're looking at November or December.
You know, typically PBC and Showtime, CBS normally like to announce any type of major fight on a fight weekend.
Mm-hmm.
No, and they normally want to bring both guys to the fight that is happening at, do their interview with them, make their announcement, make it big and grand. Also, we know right now something that's going on that's about to start in the next couple weeks in the dead heat of the summer. That's training camp.
Mm-hmm.
And Showtime is with CBS. So they're going to get all that free advertisement and marketing, to go ahead and make it a major announcement. I think a major announcement is on its way. I mean, I don't have any sources that told me that, but that's I get a feeling that we about to get a major announcement. Also, Showtime this week played back a interview that Terrence Crawford did at the International Boxing Hall of Fame. They played it on Showtime Sports and on Twitter. So that's another little thing that got me thinking, hey, man, we about to get an announcement here because he's not, to my knowledge, Terrence Crawford has never fought on Showtime. I could be wrong, but I've never seen him on the Showtime air, and I've never seen them, doing interviews with fighters that are not Showtime fighters on their platform. What's going on, Steph? What you think? Tell you what we're saying. We're thinking, or at least I'm saying, that it may be a major announcement coming in the next week in regards to Crawford and Spence. All right, go ahead now.
Sorry, I painted this back room all dark colors, but
okay.
Man, same old with me. I took a school of thought that we probably wouldn't be getting this fight to begin with, but I won't be so negative. Look, we had an encouraging week, right? Starting with late last week around this time when Showtime revealed that footage that was done at the Hall of Fame there.
Right.
Again, it's encouraging. It's encouraging, but I still didn't hear anything that reassured me. Just same old Crawford. Well, and
right,
that and the other, and waffling.
Yeah.
So, but I'll skip the rainbow and get to the pot of gold at the end.
Yeah.
What's that? I'm really looking forward to hearing from Terrence himself, Errol himself, both their trainers, Derek and Bomac, and Steven Espinoza announcing the fight. Whether it be Instagram or any other social media outlet.
Right.
I'm waiting for that.
Well, you got Danny Garcia coming up next week, if I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely. And Gary Antoine Russell is going to be in a step-up fight against Bartholomew.
But do we want to? But gentlemen, do we want to take some of that firepower from Danny like that when it's his night returning to the Barclays?
I honestly think that at this stage of the game, with him moving up to 54, with them losing the last fight to Spence and being off the amount of time he's been off, I actually think to help Danny, because I'm along those lines. Danny has done a lot in his career to be like this side note. So what you can do is you could put a bigger spotlight on the event. You could put a bigger spotlight on the event by saying we have a major announcement coming on the Danny Garcia fight. And that would make more eyes come to his fight.
Well,
that's what I was about to say.
Well, are we waiting for, the fall and winter schedule to be coming out per se?
I think that should be coming out on this week as well, according to Espinoza himself. Also, couple weeks ago.
Where can I see that? Fight Hype?
I think he put that on his Twitter page a few weeks ago. Also, Espinoza had just went on a vacation last
Yeah, it
week.
seems
And
like
the only
everybody's
reason I'm bringing this
back on
up,
vacation.
That's
right?
that's what I said. Derrick James and them was too.
Right, exactly. So everybody went on vacation around this time as well. Espinoza, Derrick James, you know. So, but the reason I brought that up is because Espinoza had got into a Twitter beef with,
Yeah, that was my
you
next
know, you
question.
saw that, right?
Sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt. So was he replying to somebody, or did he announce it?
He,
A tweet.
I think he was replying to a question.
Okay.
And he ended up getting into a Twitter beef as well that night in regards to is he married or not married? Because on the vacation he had, this guy that I'm not going to give him a whole lot of spotlight, but a guy that we probably would know. I could put it in the chat if you want.
Man, Twitter's so rancid, man.
Yeah, they crazy. Guy went off on Espinoza about are you
His
married?
personal life?
On his personal life. Like I told you, it's on his Twitter feed. You can see it because him and his girl, you know, did a little dance or whatever to some Kanye West music, and it was just a whole lot. It just was dumb, but I just brought that up to add a little spice to it. But go ahead, Juma.
And that's something that I like the sport of boxing, man, because of what it just sport of boxing itself, the fighters, the preparation, the excitement and stuff you get. And don't get me wrong, I think a lot of people who have YouTube channels and things like that have done the sport some good. I really do, especially in the black market, right? No doubt in the black market.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell you what has gotten very exhausting is the ones that instead of just being a fan and allowing black media to start a YouTube channel and the love of sports to talk about it now, you've got people now that want to place themselves in the business of boxing. And now you got so many people with channels and stuff like that want to talk about Al Heyman and things like that. And they talk about him so much to the point where you was like, man, you talking about him with so much hate now that did Al sleep with your wife or something, man? The amount of content that you're putting out about certain boxers, it doesn't even make sense anymore, man. You ain't talking about boxing no more.
Yeah.
It got exhausting. So it's a few people that I would stop following or things like that because
absolutely
you're not even talking about boxing no more. You're just talking about just pure hate, man.
Yeah, that's a great word, hate. And go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, I feel you, June. Shoot, like, just that last comment. You said everyone got all these YouTube channels and whatnot, and throughout the black community. Look, like anything else, you got to take the good, bad, and ugly of all of those things. Right. However, if you really want to seize the test there and see what it is, when the smoke clears, you'll see who's left. You'll see who's still hanging because they're out there telling the truth. Their work will speak for themselves.
Absolutely.
And then, gosh, I said this last night in my space. Boxing is 80% what us gentlemen are doing right now. Just talking, shooting the shit, giving our opinion, what we think,
well, that's
all the knowledge that we know. And
right.
The other 20%, you got 10% of our favorite fighters versus our other favorite fighters and opposing, things like that. So we're doing it, man. We're doing it right now. And
no doubt.
I may hear something through the pipeline that I might not like or anything, but I've been thinking about it lately, maybe this week more than others, and this is a good time, as it is a bad time, because we're in a lull of boxing. We're also anxious to wait for the scheduling and whatnot, what's next.
Right.
I'm trying to just really be optimistic when I hear other opinions and be nice and be encouraged by that and just roll with that, whether I disagree or not, because I'm gonna have to come back with something if I want to go back, against that grain or rebuff it. So I've been thinking about like that, but there is some crazy takes, of course, whatever.
Yeah. And I'm gonna add my last little bit on this. The only thing that I would say about any type of Al Heyman hate or whatever is the fact that the next time that someone hear his voice will be the first time, because the guy absolutely, positively don't say nothing to nobody. You know what I'm saying? Everything we ever heard of Al Heyman has been secondhand. because
And
the
I
man,
love that about him.
yeah, he doesn't put nothing out about himself. He doesn't go anywhere. We don't see him at fights, and although he be at fights, I've seen him at fights before. But he's
Yeah,
in,
you've seen him
yeah,
there.
yeah. I've seen him before at a fight. You know, I saw him at the Ricky Hatton Mayweather fight way back. I want to say what that was 2008,
7. That's 7
7.
or 8.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
wanna say.
November and September of 07, 08, one of them. I think it was 07. And you know, so he be at fights, and if he had a fight, which is rare, he gonna be in the dressing room area, looking at the fights around that way. So again, the man has done no harm to nobody, and I want to be real positive in regards to the Crawford and Spence, where to the fact that I'm not gonna disrespect either fighter, whether I want to see a guy win or lose. I'm gonna be real respectful because I actually think that once it get announced, people gonna have to come to the gravity of how big this fight really gonna be. You know what I'm saying? It's a super fight. It may not be super like Mayweather Pacquiao, but in the pure die-hard kind of way, these are the type of fights that are very rare you get. You know what I'm saying? Where both guys are undefeated, both guys have been looking dominant, and both guys are fighting for all the belts. Very rare, man.
Shout out
Very
to BF TV. It's the best fighting the best. So
best fighting the best. Shout
right
out.
here at 47.
Yeah, shout out to him. Also, I want to touch on this. I've been getting into, because I like to engage a little bit on Twitter, so I could get people to come on through this channel and debate or just talk or listen.
You gotta invite some people, Jay. You gotta.
I've been inviting
Like
people.
you gotta, but you gotta like directly, maybe on the timeline is what I'm kind of getting at.
Oh yeah,
Directly. But
gotcha.
you know what? Fail on me because I need to be. I've been in spaces for the better part of 48 hours now. I should be repping you. Like, hey, we got to hop on Julia's stuff too. So
I appreciate that, brother.
We'll do.
But let me tell you what's been going on though. So people that are so-called boxing fans are really truly eating the Jake Paul cornflakes.
Wait, no. I'll do you one better, and we'll come back to Jake real fast. No,
yeah, go ahead.
Ryan Garcia has got the boxing world tricked.
Okay,
so
go ahead. Shoot on that first.
So
yeah, we can definitely get on that.
It's like it is. It's not even comical because, like, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. This guy is literally gaining steam off other people's hard work and off their back, and then they just want to like somehow because they like him, they want to discredit on what it takes to actually be a boxing superstar. But I've been getting into these debates, and people are literally telling me, because like I'm going to say it here, I'm going to say it. He's not a draw. He's not. Mm-hmm. I know he's popular. I know. Hang on, Drew, and I'll let you rebuff it, sir. I know he's popular. I'm sorry I hijacked the Jay, but like.
No, go ahead.
That stuff.
Get it off your chest.
It's so bad, man. It's so bad, dude. It sir is unbelievable stuff. Again, I know the young sir is I know he's a draw. I know he can beg in a crowd. I know he's got the goods. He's got that big left. But all of what we're talking, or all the talk and all the smoke and all you're hearing is this guy literally saying, he's literally calling out Gervonta, and for great reason. He knows that's the best, and he knows that's a big bag. But, dude, like, I asked them, how does all what he's going on translate to dollars? And they tell me Instagram followers. They tell me popularity contests and whatnot. And I'm like, dude, you got to win championships or I'll skip to the end. How can these not on the pay-per-views? Like that, like, where are the numbers or where's the proof in the pudding? Give me something. Don't tell me Instagram followers. Like that can't be for him.
Yeah, go ahead, June.
Well, like I say, because I got something that right there gets to me. It's kind of deep. Last time I was on here with Julius, we brought up Caleb Plant, and we was gonna talk about some things with Caleb Plant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a few things that goes into that. I agree with everything you're saying because I was looking at the ESPYs and I saw him on there. Ryan Garcia on there, the ESPYs, and the little comment he made on the ESPYs when he got ready to present. And two things going there too. You got to look at who Ryan Garcia is, right? And regardless, the type of person that he is, he can get famous and carry that Instagram wave. You see what I'm saying? If you know what I'm
I
saying.
know.
If you can
I
read
see that,
between
Jay.
the lines.
I see that, June.
And as well as you got to look at it, we living in a different time now, whereas in almost we living in the skinny jean era now. So Instagram followers me more than belt. so when you look at it like that, he's able to do that because of where we at in boxing. See, you got to get real deep on that and things like that because nobody has called his bluff yet and said, you know what, you're doing all this talking. Let's make this fight. Let's pull a Devin Haney, right? Because let's say he's calling out Tank, but Floyd's saying, "Hey, you're the A side." So it's good to call out Tank, get a little steam and things like that from him. But we'll be this time next year, and that fight won't be.
Devin Haney was at his fight when he fought Fortuna. By the way, I think Fortuna took a dive with all that controversy and all this heat he's been taken. I think he took a dive, and it's a respectable dive because like he just went in there for a check, whatever. That's my opinion, and more on that later. But that's all good and gravy. I'm down with the new era. I'm down with how they getting down and stuff. But it's an insult to the business model, to the math. The math is not mathing, is what I'm getting at. And so, what am I really saying, guys? That's not how boxing works. Like straight up, that's not how this game works. Because, fine, I'll grant it. They can get it on. They can get it on. And by the way, if they win and ever, Tank's going to annihilate him in 6 rounds or less. He's not on that level. But again, I'll grant it. Fine. Okay, let's talk about it. Let's get to the math. Let's get to the work. The people who are going to look up at him and look at his numbers and what he brings to the table, they're going to be like, first, they're going to be like, hell no. And then secondly, be like, this is what we're offering you. And then he's going to do what he's going to do. But basically what I'm saying is that what he's bringing to the table does not match with what Tank is aligned with and what Tank has had to go through to be proven. And, and Tank is lucky. He's a blessing. He's an anomaly. Yeah. Like, you know, he deserves everything coming to him. And I think he can do better. But again, more on that later. But he does funny stuff. Like, because in his first couple pay-per-views, they were regulatory numbers, regular 200 and some odd, or just gradually getting better. And then this last one, who everyone hates on his competition, it blew out Errol Spence. Like, now explain that. That's right. Fine, Ryan Garcia. Where's your proof? Where is...
Well, I'm going to give you an analogy right here about something that happened a few years ago. It was a fight in the Staples Center probably about 10 years ago now. Shane Mosley against Antonio Margarito. I'm only going to bring it up for this subject here. At that particular fight, to this day, that was the biggest attendance in the Staples Center, or now it's Crypto, history. Shane Mosley versus Antonio Margarito. Reason I bring that up is they had over 20,000 people there for that particular fight. And at that particular time, people told me at that time that Shane Mosley and Margarito weren't a draw. Okay. Now, Ryan Garcia is considered a draw. If I ain't mistaken, he fought in the same Crypto Arena, Staples Center. And even wasn't the fight there this past Saturday? It was in the Crypto, right?
Right.
I want to say he had what?
He had 11.
11,000. 9,000 paid. Tank Davis had a fight there and got what? 16,000, right?
Yeah, he got 15, 16, right. So that's almost 50% better.
Right. And he did it on the East Coast. And I'm not even gonna say nothing about Baltimore because people don't like to,
No. Add it, go ahead and say it.
Yeah, he did Baltimore. He did,
Black people ride for him. That's
Brooklyn.
They ride for Tank.
They ride for Tank, and I ride for Tank.
All the major
cities. All the major cities. Atlanta. Forgot about Atlanta. He did Atlanta, Chicago. He did the South. He did the East Coast. The guy is a draw. Now Ryan is a Instagram. Is good on Instagram, but here's the thing. I started thinking back. Okay, when guys are and girls too, when they're good on Instagram or Twitter or whatever, I want to know what's their talent. Like, what is it that makes him an Instagram sensation? Is it him when he get up there and do the pad work and he show fast hands? Like, I haven't never seen him do nothing outside of boxing. Maybe I'm missing things. I mean, you know, I don't know. So y'all tell me, what is it that he does on Instagram that get the followers?
No, people just like him, and I'm not gonna allow them to the stuff that like you. They're trying to sell me something, and I'm just not buying that. I'm like, dog. That's
Yeah, I'm not
how
buying it.
boxing works. That's not
Right.
how boxing works.
And you're gonna have to win some.
And what did Tank say? What did Tank say? He said, "All right, dog. See you at the end of the year."
Yeah.
And another thing,
And it only happens if Tank wants it, because again, to the boxing math, if they're really gonna do it, dude, you bring nothing to the table. They just keep telling me, "Oh, it's gonna generate money. It's gonna," and that's true. That's fine. That's great. But like, he's not even in the same class, man, on any level. On any level. And then and then he's like, "I'll do it at 140," and everyone's like, "Yeah," and I'm just like, dog, like, okay, even worse. You can't mess with anyone up there.
Oh no, they
They
real.
would annihilate the young man.
Yes.
Like, man, I don't get it.
It's so frustrating because, like I said, where we at now has allowed him to do it. And I'm trying to bring up a few points I can remember. Like when he presented the award at the ESPYs, I think he reported to he gave it to the soccer player. You know, she's like a lesbian, but she was like, "Can I get a hug?" She was like, "I like women, but hey, that boy that looks good." And, you know, he gets on there with the
She said that, Jude?
Yeah, she said it. I looked at it. And that's what I'm saying. And so he gets on there, so. And just being there at the ESPYs, it gives him false stats.
It's that perception, man. It's that perception.
It's that
and
perception.
hype, man.
So you look at it like that. He has that going for himself, right? As far as we like to say, yeah, Tank is a bigger draw in the urban community that loves Tank. But you got to look at what Tank does. Tank doesn't appeal to that perception that they say is marketable, like Ryan Garcia, even though us boxing heads know different. But where it comes to dollars, they don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? And for that fight to happen, see, he's mastered the art of the rope-a-doping business. Because see, what's going to happen is he's calling out Tank, right? And you saw what Floyd said. If you want to fight Tank, it's at 135, Tank the A side. Believe it or not, he's outsmarted Floyd, because I'm tell you what's going to happen. He's called out Tank. He said this. He won his last fight. So that perception, everybody, oh, that boy ready for Tank. He'd have been on Mike Tyson's show. But when it comes to the business negotiation, whereas the Floyd's going to say he's the A side, you don't bring nothing to it, which is Floyd is right. Because look at the numbers, right? So honestly, you deserve maybe 70, 30, 60, 40. And I try not to talk to the money.
Oh, no, it's
70,
30, but I
want to give you an example of what they're going to say. Man, I'd have hosted the ESPYs, man. Look at the type of people that loves me, man.
Gives a shit.
But that's what I'm saying. But guess what? And those negotiations are gonna fall.
Dog.
And guess what? Its reputation is still gonna be intact because of that. And it's gonna allow.
Okay, I'll play a little devil's advocate. Like, okay, fine. Like, I'm okay with everything you said, June. I'm okay with everything you said, you know, repping the young man. That's fine. But how does that translate to dollars? That's where you're losing me. You literally told me I'm on the ESPYs. What?
But here's the thing. What you said a key word. I'm glad you used that big word, because you helped me out. The precipitation of it. It doesn't translate it, but it looks like it does.
That's like going to a strip club, right, with play money, and you do your lap dance, right, and she get on you and do your thing, and then she go, all right, and then she ready to go do her thing, and you hand her some Monopoly money. She gonna look at you really funny, dude. You know, really funny, man.
And I'm glad
that's a bad analogy, but like, man.
No. It's a perfect analogy. Let me tell you why. Because guess what? If you're looking at that dude across from the room, you don't know that's fake money. That look like stacks on stacks on stacks until you get there. You see what I'm saying?
All right, I get what you trying to say, Junebug, is that you feel that he might can fool the masses enough.
Oh, and he has.
But let me add to this. And it's a great analogy and a great conversation going on because we know that Tank Davis isn't the star Mayweather is, but they got similarities in this. A lot of people didn't want to believe that Mayweather was the draw that he really was. So what they did was they said, well, okay, it was because he fought this particular Mexican fighter. Oh, it was because he fought that particular Mexican fighter. Oh, no. He fought that Mexican fighter. That's what did it. So people keep saying what they say about Tank Davis, but he done fought different type of fighters, different type of styles, different arenas, different time zones. The one thing remained the same. Tank Davis' name was on the end of it. The same thing, sometimes people going to have to realize that if a Tank Davis-Ryan Garcia fight come about and it does well, it's not just because of the Ryan Garcia effect. It's not just because of the Instagram and Twitter effect. It's going to be because Tank Davis' name is attached to it, because if you remove his name, then you only have Ryan Garcia.
What do you got? What do you got? What do you have?
That's the same thing I said in regards to the Mayweather. Remove
that's
Mayweather.
Why I say you're not a draw, dude.
Right.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Remove Mayweather name, you just got Robert Guerrero. Remove Mayweather name, you just got Goyo Vargas or Jose Luis Castillo or this guy, that guy, with the only exception being Manny Pacquiao. But see, that is why there are mega fights. So that two guys that are almost on the same massive, level, like De La Hoya. At the time, De La Hoya was a bigger draw than Mayweather, but he got there and he morphed into something bigger than De La Hoya. So I think that's what Tank Davis probably needs, but Ryan Garcia is not his De La Hoya.
A couple things. Right,
yeah.
I get that. I understand that, and that's exactly what's going on, sir. I believe that to be true. And it comes back to something I said earlier, like I'm double down on it. Mm-hmm. Ryan Garcia, the moves that he's pulling and what Oscar and them are how they're promoting, in my eyes, is they only want him, and I call them the they and the others. They and other only want to beat Tank because, again, these three gentlemen in this conversation, we roll with Tank. We think Tank is the best. Right. Everyone, and that's what it is, man. And it's racial, man. Like, I'm not trying to get racial or anything, but that's what it is. That's what this is. And like, I'm not trying to be funny. That's just like Ryan Garcia. That's the only reason why he's calling out, because, like, dog, Devin Haney was at your fight, man, and you're not calling him out. And let's just, like I said, you take Tank away, it's nothing. Dev will pull up on homeboy. Be like, let's go, and he'll duck.
That's what I was about to say. It's racial. I'm glad you said it, because that's what I've been hitting at the whole time. But the reason why it's easy to call out Tank, because I'm gonna tell you something. Because he knows one thing Mayweather loves more than everything. It's nothing he loves more than money.
Oh yeah, he knows more than that.
So he knows I can get that spark buzz by calling his name out, and once we get to the negotiation table, it's gonna fall apart, and I can use that as an excuse. I won't call out Devin, because look at what Devin just did. Hell, Devin may tell me he'll take 40% and let me take 60%. And guess what?
Yeah, I'll put the belt on. He'll put the belt on the line and beat your butt. Yeah.
Guess what? Now Devin's gonna say, "Hey, I'm already undisputed. That's another notch under my belt, gonna make me big." And guess what? Ryan gonna say, "Nah, damn, I'd have stepped in some stuff. I'd have let my mouth overload my butt." But he knows with Tank, he can get out those negotiations because of the money aspect is gonna come into it, and he can argue that. But see, that's why he's not calling out Devin, because he knows Devin may be a fight that I can make, because after Devin fights Kambosos, and let's say we'll see what goes on with Lomachenko, Devin is very free. So Devin may tell you, "Hey man, let's do something here. We're the biggest names. let's do it. I may say 50-50, or I tell you what, 60-40, because I know I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do to you. And guess what Ryan gonna say? He can't backpedal out of that. But Floyd and them is gonna give Ryan the opportunity to still save face, because
Now,
he's gonna
go ahead, Jen. My
go
bad.
ahead.
I was
Oh,
gonna
the
say,
reason,
yeah, you go.
and I'll say this, I'm almost finished. It was because they know once it's time to negotiate is, and Floyd is going to demand 70-30. Floyd is going to tell the truth, saying, "Hey, you're not that big of a draw." But the precipitation that what Ryan is going to come in with is saying, "Hey, I'm bigger than that." Look, he's fooling majority of boxing fans. He's going to fool the people that look at boxing now. He's going to fool 70% of them. He's not going to fool people on this panel, but he's going to
You
fool
cooking, Julius?
majority.
Cooking, Jen.
But he's gonna fool majority of the people. So that's gonna allow him to back out that fight and say, "Hey, you see, I've been calling out Tank on Mike Tyson's show everywhere. They don't want to do this, so guess what? They're gonna give him the excuse, but he can't do that against Devin." And so I let you cook now.
Yeah, go ahead.
I know you did it, man. That's exactly what it is. See, I know that, but I wasn't thinking of that because I'm kind of mad at the boxing public over this because, like I said, he's got everybody tricked, man. But you just hit it on the head. That's fine. So when they do hit the negotiation tables, he's going to get exposed. He will be exposed big time.
And we're gonna touch that, and we're gonna move into the Jake Paul because we're gonna touch on Jake a little, and then we got to get to the Dogboe fight that's gonna be coming up. And y'all know something that's crazy? The Ryan Garcia, Jake Paul are like cousins. They're like brothers because the conversation gonna sound very similar. Jake Paul, I have to come out and make this statement because, like I say, it's a lot of it's been some craziness. I'm having people telling me, "Oh my God, Jake Paul has been getting better. Oh man, do you see the speed and you see this?" And I'll just say one thing to him. I mean, it doesn't. First of all, I know without a shadow of a doubt that you don't really know boxing, and that's fine because guess what? We all think we know everything, but sometimes people know less than others. Jake Paul has fought a basketball player, a YouTuber, okay, 2 MMA fighters, and you say how great that his right hand is. Let me say this. Hasim Rahman Jr. is not Hasim Rahman Sr. He's not The Rock, okay? He would not knock out Lennox Lewis, Hasim Rahman Jr. But he 1,000% can knock out Jake Paul. And I think that people are getting in their heads that
Julie's happy about that.
Huh?
So you happy about that one?
Yeah, man, because people, like you said, I'm in amazement because I'm looking at people that are telling me how great this guy getting and how he can advance his career and like step up levels. And I'm like, who are they talking about? Are they talking about Jake Paul? I mean, because when I was listening to him, I actually thought they was talking about Ryan Garcia or somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could see Ryan Garcia, he get the right matchups, win a belt at 35, or even win a belt at 40 if he get the right matchups. But there's no matchup you can give Jake Paul that's going to have him being a serious boxer.
Does it matter though? I know what you're saying. No, everything you're saying,
because they doing everything in their power with Hasim Rahman. First of all, let me address this. I've known that guy for a long time, Hasim Rahman Jr. He's not going to lay down. If he lose, it's going to be because he lost or he couldn't, recover from all that weight loss that he got to do. You know what I'm saying? Because people forget. They asked this kid a question a couple weeks ago. They said, "Hey, what you weigh?" Telling him it was going to be so he can come in and spar with Jake. And he must have told them an astronomical number, like 240, 250, because they came back and they know that the guy. I mean, every boxer. A lot of people get it mixed up. Most boxers that that we don't see on TV might make $1,000 in a fight. They may make 2,500. 3,000, 4,000. So that's your number, $3,000, $4,000. And somebody call you back and say, "Hey, look, I need you to lose 45 pounds in about 5 weeks, and then you can't gain more than 15 at between the weigh-in, and we're gonna pay you $500,000." You're not turning that down. You're not turning it down. So if the kid has to cut off a leg to make 200, and if it means that the fight, by the time the fight happens, that he's lethargic and has nothing, it's for the payday. But that's not laying down. So I just want to get that out there. He ain't laying down. And if he got even a mustard seed of grit left, he is going to not only beat Jake Paul, he is going to knock him out, and people are going to say, "Well, he ain't beat nobody but a YouTuber." Now, y'all go ahead. Man. Y'all go ahead.
That's
man. Go ahead. Go ahead. Let me. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll be quick because I see this is one where like I'm pretty. I think you guys can tell I'm pretty black and white about this stuff, but
yeah.
This is one grand situation for me because, for starters, boxing allows this. There's always been celebrity boxers coming in and doing their thing, whether they've been a celebrity, whether they've been a socialite, some type of public figure that no one would have known. And then also that actual fact, in essence, that it's quick money. You can make money doing this.
Absolutely.
Especially if you can jaw and talk and draw that way. And then secondly, man, Hassan's going to get paid and he's going to take a dive.
You think he's going to take a dive?
Oh, yeah, he's taking a dive, man. He's taking a dive. Because he should be able to beat this guy's ass no matter what. And don't get it twisted. Jake Paul can box, man. He's not a professional.
Not professional.
I'm not getting it twisted that way.
Not even a good amateur.
He's not.
That's what I'm saying. He can just box, and because he's been blessed and afforded to be in situations where he's being taught on a daily basis, and he's been doing this now for however long he's been doing it, even slightly beforehand. But look, he's an influencer, and he's coming over from a world where he's got fandom like that, and again, boxing allows it, and it'll just take over. But I'll shut up now. He's going to take a dive. Old boy's taking a dive, and I've actually checked this out. I've never seen Jake Paul fight. I've never had any interest. I've never had. I said literally what I just said moments ago. Is I've been saying it ever since he came into the fold. Now, actually, one more thing, and then I'll really shut up. I am very impressed with his promotional skills. That's his. That's his talent, and I love I love how he was able to have his fingertips on women's boxing. Yeah, Amanda personally, because he's put money in her pocket. He's already got her another fight lined up. I'm glad she didn't take that rematch because she got jobbed the first time, so she ain't going out like that.
I'm disappointed in her too, though. I'm disappointed.
If you really think about it, she got hosed, man, and then they're trying to do it overseas.
I just didn't like the fact that she looked happy about it after the fight, and then the next day she posted, or 2 days later, she posted from the mall and was like, I'm going out here and I'm shopping. I'm like, come on now. Maybe I'm being too hard, Steph. But I just didn't like.
No. I feel that fighting spirit. Like you expect more, but like honestly, I did some research on the women. Literally just a week before that fight, I was very impressed with their inner lives, man. Both women are drastically different. Katie is really kind of done. Like I'll start with her. Like she's kind of done she really took the professional route and had to go through those fiery hula hoops and get her name. And the big thing about that is that she convinced Eddie to put her on, when women's boxing is not a thing. And she was able to get her name out, even with all the highly Irish controversy with all that Kinahan crap and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But anywho, Amanda has a similar story where she got in trouble, or her, she was affiliated with people who were in that dark stuff, doing hustling, things like that, and the FBI got involved and things like that.
Didn't know.
Yeah, read that up. So basically, June, she turned her whole life around, man. It was like going into hiding. Usually, she's got dog in her, no doubt. Don't get that fucked up. But like, she had to put on a face because she was involved with some heavy stuff, man. And God is good, man. She probably could have done some. I'm not saying she could have done some time, but like at worst that, So, and then as far as like the boxing goes, like, look, she's good. I think she's older, and I think she's just at peace with what had happened. Even if she's not, I'm speaking for her, but like I think she's just at peace. She got some big money coming in, and she's been promoted like she should have been 4 and 5, 6 years ago.
Yeah, I appreciate Jake what he doing for the women's game or especially for Amanda. And I didn't like what he did with Clarissa. And don't get me wrong, I know that Clarissa Shields can get on people's nerves.
He did some drawing back, right? He did some drawing
back. I mean, I know.
Because what Clarissa did to him.
I know Clarissa can be,
But she basically
like not being racial, but that's racial, man. She's a black lady, and he was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and do whatever the fuck I gotta say. I'm not sure, but like that's all that was. Because obviously she's gonna rebuff that, and we all know how Clarissa is.
Yes,
so that's all what that was.
But that started from a Clarissa being just like us three black men on this panel, calling out Jake Paul.
Oh no, she just said the truth, right? She just said the truth, right?
And that hurt his feelings. And like I said, I'm gonna get on Amanda just 1 second, because I feel what Julie is saying. But you think about a woman in boxing, he has helped that woman make more than she's made her entire career.
Oh, no doubt.
At an older age, so she's to the point now where she's grateful. Like I said, she's at peace and she realized where she is. And as far as Jake Paul, I'm gonna use this analogy right here. And this is just my analogy to explain what Jake Paul has done, right? So you take Michael B. Jordan.
I'm listening.
And Chris. You take Michael B. Jordan and Chris Brown, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's say you see them out somewhere and they knock out a guy, right? And now, let's say 3 months later, they want to do a boxing. They want to fight a boxer.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say they. Well, we don't even want to talk about weight classes, but just let's say they get a real boxer to agree. Somebody on the lower end. You may be able to pick somebody at the upper end. Let's just say a Chris Eubanks. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to figure out somebody that may be around their weight. Well, let's say Chris Eubanks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Chris Eubanks agreed to fight Michael B. Jordan or Chris Brown.
Right.
Now,
sound crazy, right?
So now you think about it. So guess what? Now it's so crazy where the world of boxing at. But guess who's going to be the bigger draw when they fight?
Michael B. Jordan. Yeah, Michael B. Jordan would. Yeah.
And then now let's look at the narrative. If Chris Brown or Michael B. Jordan wins that fight, man, that's their first fight and they beat a boxer. Let's say they lose that fight. Well, man, you got to look at it, man. He stepped in there. You got to give him credit, man. He got hard. He stepped in the ring with somebody been fighting for years, and he knocked him out in the 4th round. He should have knocked him out in the 1st round. The boy got potential, man. You look at that. You see what I'm saying? So guess what?
Yep.
Because of that popularity and how sometimes I'm gonna use racism, not because Jake Paul came in the game with extremely high fan base already, to where it isn't afford him to benefit of the doubt. Like you said, if he go get destroyed by whatchamacallit, he gets destroyed, but guess what? They're gonna say, man, look, that's his first big fight, man. Look at what he's done already. Let me see him fight again, man. That ain't doing nothing but made him better. If he lose, and if he wins, you look at it like, look at that, man. That dude that come from a great boxing pedigree, and look what
right. He's always in a win-win situation. I got you.
Exactly. And that's Jake Paul in a nutshell. I know it makes real boxing dudes pissed off as hell, but that's where we at. So that's it.
And like I say, the only reason that I don't see Rock taking a dive, Rock Jr. is because number one, he got
Oh, he's taking a dive. He's taking a dive.
Second thing is he ain't getting a rematch. This isn't going to be a situation.
Taking a dive. He about to get a whole milli. He about to get a milli.
Where you know,
a milli.
I actually think that he's going to stop Jake Paul. But here's the thing. You can also, as a professional boxer, and this go back to Junebug win-win for Jake. You actually can make yourself look bad if you just go in there and knock him out with one punch. You actually, in a way, you make yourself look bad because they're gonna be like, "Oh, so you just go in here and you jumping all on the ropes for knocking out a YouTuber." So you in a lose-lose situation because remember when Floyd let Conor McGregor hang around and then he knocked him out? Floyd got destroyed after doing that. Because people were like, "Oh man, he hung with Floyd all this long." You know, they was like, "Well, Floyd lost it," or he actually was real competitive. You see what I'm saying? So if he knock him out quick, I can see backlash off that. So I don't know. Go ahead.
But the difference between him and Floyd was already at an astronomical. He was already at a high standard to where he could afford to do that. This guy here is like you said. Are you sure about that? Because you think about it now, the bag can keep on running. This is the first real true boxing test he gets. So let's say it goes down as a draw, because a draw is a win for Jake Paul.
Yeah, 100%.
So let's say it's a draw, or you know what I'm saying, or let's say he does win, but it's close. You don't think that bag will get a little bit longer for him now if Jake Paul say let's run it back?
If Jake Paul thinks he can win, then like say Jake lose, but he think he can come back and win, then yeah, I can see a rematch.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that if they let that happen, but man, I'm trying to tell y'all, man, he about to take a dive.
You think it's gonna be some WWE type action?
This is a clown show, man. Come on, man. And look, I said like we allow this. The boxing community, the boxing game, the boxing. It look like I keep saying this too to remind folks, and people kind of keep laughing at me. Look, man, wherever there's boxing, there is organized crime, gambling, prostitution, black market.
Yeah.
A lot of basically what I'm saying is there's a lot of money involved. So we allow these clown shows, man, and perception and hype is what a promoter's job is, and like that's his golden ticket. Talking about Jake, he's attached himself to that and to boxing per se. So anything to keep the money coming in and the horse, riding, man. Like so, and I got no qualms about that because like I saw this from the get go. So
I agree with you. I think
whatever, man.
Take a dive. I agree with you. I think
he's taking a dive, man. Like Fortuna did. Fortuna took a dive. I'm trying to tell you.
Because you look at it, what is his record, or what did he have going on outside of Jake Paul?
Hassan, right?
Yeah.
I look at him as like a tough sparring guy,
Exactly, a tough sparring guy.
And
tough sparring guys don't pay the bills.
Nah. But like, he's been in the boxing game for what he is, and he is a professional, of course. But look, boxing's hard, man. It's hard to make your name. And
exactly.
Again, with boxing, I'm gonna say it one more time. Like, we allow a nobody to come in and do things like this. And I'm not gonna lie, like he's done good. He's brought more eyeballs to boxing. And boxing's one of those things where it's, like anything else, like it's a craft. So I encourage everyone, like when they're watching, I'm like, man, you really got to be looking at it. Like it's not just guys in there trying to take each other's head off. Yes,
you got to have an eye for it.
Like, yes, that's the objective. Actually, it's not. The objective is to get hit or hit and not get hit. So, like you there is something to it, and like you've been saying, Juma, I love your Chris Brown analogy because like it's a win-win that way, and then man, perception's everything. And folks sometimes, and then what you just said, like you got to have an eye. Folks don't know what they're looking at sometimes.
And I'm gonna say this because I know Julius getting. And Julius, I don't want to get his show, and I don't want them to take things off. So I want to be careful when I say, things.
Okay, go ahead.
But I'm gonna say this here: you say we allowed that, but I wouldn't say we allowed Jake Paul to do it because I'm gonna look at. I want to bring this up to the way white folks are allowed to move in the
Oh,
world or do it because you look at it. A black guy couldn't come into boxing and do what Jake Paul did, even if he had the money. He would have to already be so established, like just like the people I mentioned, or Michael B. Jordan. But the average black YouTuber couldn't break into boxing like Jake Paul has done. You think about it.
hey, real quick, Junebug. Okay, see, I might want to watch that Michael B. Jordan versus Jake Paul. That's not fair. But that's celebrity style. Like I might want to.
Hey,
I might if
that,
it was free, I'd watch it. But like I ain't about to pay to watch that. But
if they make that damn fight, I'm going to court. I want my for promotion. I'm gonna be in there like Eddie Hearn. If they make that fight, I want my money.
like straight up, man. Like Michael B. Jordan's what, like 5'9"?
Yeah, he's not that tall.
I
Yeah, he
wanted
like
to give him about
5'9".
5'11".
Yeah, he might be
Really?
5'11".
Okay.
wanted to give him
Yeah.
about
Okay. So
5'11".
it's fair. It's fair. He can get on the PEDs. It's fair. All right.
Yeah, that's another thing. Is it going to be? I mean, I haven't heard, but is there any PED testing going to go on in that particular fight?
Oh no, it's sports in the
And-
top 10. Hassan taking a dive and he gonna get
That's
knocked
what I
out
said.
all over the world,
In a
man.
situation like that, it's no need to do it. You know, it's no need to take a PED if you're not really trying to win. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
So what's this fight tonight?
Well, tonight we got Isaac Dogbe going against Joet Gonzalez.
Oh,
Excuse me,
yeah.
Joet, we know, is known for, taking whoopings. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how else to put it. I mean, I like the guy,
Taking
yeah,
whoopings.
but he takes some whoopings, and that's what he's known for. For the fight with Shakur and also the Navarrete fight. I mean, he took a
Yeah,
whooping.
he shouldn't have been in the Navarrete, but like Joat needed the experience with Shakur. Shakur needed that experience too.
Right.
That name, yeah. But Navarrete, like he was never gonna win that. Neither was Shakur either. But like they should have done that to him like that. That was
well, fella, it's levels to it, and sometimes the correct way to do it is walk up a step by step. But sometimes in life we don't walk upstairs step by step. Sometimes we skip 2 or 3 steps.
oh, checkmate's up in here.
Yeah, I'm trying to get Checkmate on. He said there's something wrong with the link, but y'all were able to get up there, so I don't know.
Checkmate.
So
I did mine
Is he
via
on YouTube
Twitter.
or yeah, that's what, did he go through YouTube or did he go through via Twitter? Because last time I wasn't able to get through the link through via YouTube. I had to go through your Twitter link.
Here you go.
Every time,
Here.
in fact, Twitter. So
Good afternoon, brother Checkmate. What's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
The OG.
Right,
feeling,
all
man?
right. Welcome in.
Well, Check, we're going to go on and put you right to the test, man. Look, we was talking about the Jake Paul and Hassan Rockman Jr. Fight that's coming up. We've been up here an hour, so we've been talking about some other things. But what you feel about that? And do you think that Rock is going to take a dive? I said that he's not, but they seem to think that Rock going to get out there and fall down out there, man, and get counted out. Or
a milli. Trying to tell you.
On the surface, it appears that he may be taking a dive, but he looks like he's training for it. I do believe he has this. Remember, Jake Paul only had like 5 fights. He should beat Jake Paul. Period. To me, it seems like Jake Paul's only chance would be for a one-shot knockout. Right? You know what I mean? So
Right.
Other than that, I see Rockman upsetting the apple cart unless they just paid him that extra money under the table. Hey, you know what you got to do. So it's hard for me to call. I can see it either way. I can see him going for the gold and winning, but I could also, but how is that going to work out for Jake Paul if he beats Jake Paul? You know what I'm saying, going forward? Because this circus show stop now that the fact that a real boxer is, you know what I mean? He's fought his first real boxer and lost, or does the circus continue?
I just explained the circuit's gonna keep on continuing. It's in Mississippi now, and then and 2 weeks later it's gonna be in Florida and Orlando. Then after that, it's gonna keep on continuing because he can afford to do it.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead, Juba.
And I'm gonna say that this is a person that can afford to take L's on their record. He's not supposed to be this undefeated fighter, no way. So this guy, this YouTuber, can afford to have 5 losses on his record at the end of the day if he makes money. And when he calls it quits, if Jake Paul ends up being 20-8, that's almost like a 28-0 record for this type of kid. You know, he's not expected to be a boxer, no way. So he can afford to take L's on his record.
This is like an invincible moment. It's like dude trying out for the team, made it. Like, come on.
And it was a great heroic movement and inspiring movement for the white people.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I think
we're all laughing.
I think Ryan Garcia is the boxing incarnation of Jake, because it's the same thing that's going on.
Go ahead. Hold on. Let me set the floor. I'm gonna leave the floor to you, Check, to go on this. We just talked about that. I didn't know if you wanted to jump right into it, but I know that you're a passionate Tank Davis fan. So basically, Junebug and Steph was saying that Ryan is using Tank name, knowing that he really not gonna take this fight, and then he can act like he did everything possible to make it happen. Now go ahead and shoot, Checkmate.
I feel that way too. There's 2 ways to look at it, because remember, that's the same thing that Anthony Joshua and Eddie did to Wilder when they was offering him that $12 million flat. Then they offered him the $15 million flat. Then when they offered and they said no, because this fight got to take this. Wilder say, okay, I'll take your $15 million flat. And then when Wilder accepted the $15 million flat, guess what? They said, oh, well, we got to fight. What is his name? The one who knocked out Dylan White. What's his name? The Russian guy.
Alexander Povetkin.
Povetkin, right? So then they said no. They say the IBF say, well, they say we have to take this Povetkin fight, so we can't do the unification. So they strung Wilder along to build up AJ's name and never took the fight. So I believe Ryan and them have been doing the same thing.
It was Al Haymon.
Huh?
It was Al Haymon.
Yeah. And I've made so many videos on that, checkmating that lie. So it could go that route, or the fact that Canelo made his name off of a loss for Floyd. So think about this. So think about this. Ryan can go in there and get knocked out, whatever the case may be, but because he was on that stage with Tank, whatever the case may be, he can still resurrect his career because he don't have to worry about facing Tank again. If he,
Yeah, and Check, I broke it down. We all broke it down actually differently, given our synopsis on that. But at the end of the day, what I really was saying is that, look, they only want to beat him. I call him they another, because they're trying to, because we ride with Tank. At the end of the day, we ride with him. We tell everyone he's the best. So they recognize that, and they want to obviously go for the challenge. But due respect to the actual boxing mathing, sir, it's all in Tank's favor. So I take large disrespect to when I see someone using his name and his star power and trying to gain clout off like that. It's been a while since I've seen someone do that, man, in actual press conferences and the way he talking. It's almost like verbatim Oscar's telling him to say these crazy things. And I'm just like, dude, you've done nothing. You've done nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
You've done absolutely, and I'm not trying to be funny when I say that. People in spaces lately are trying to laughing. I mean, they're even getting personal with me because I say he's not a draw. I know the guy is popular, but to whatever how it really matters, it means lick. It means nothing. I'm sitting here trying to figure out, what are we talking about?
Tank sold over 15,000 at the Staples Crypto, whatever you want to call it, and in Ryan's hometown. And Ryan, they said it was an attendance of 11,000. So we don't even know how many was sold. So it could have been 9,000 sold with comps. It could have been 8,000 sold with comps. Remember Tyson Fury? I remember one fight. Because I think it's Wallin. He had like 3,500 sold and 3,500 comps. You know what I'm saying? Something along those lines. So the thing about it is an embarrassment.
Say that again, Chuck.
Tyson Fury.
Okay.
He had over 3,000 comps for a fight.
That sounds funny. 3,000 comps. That just sounds funny.
Well,
basically, what I'm saying is like, who gives a shit? Like, what the?
Look, they call it comps, but they don't want to say what it is. You gave away some free tickets.
Well, that's the comps of the free tickets, right? So my point is, if you list the attendance at 5,500, but 3,000 of them are comps, that's a problem. So when you list Ryan's in his hometown, remember, this is the guy who got 8 billion Instagram followers, right? So you mean out of 8 billion Instagram followers, you couldn't sell out your home arena? Andre sells out his home arena. Bud sells out his home arena. Everybody sells out. Tank sold out Baltimore. They had standing room only. The fire marshal at the stop.
Jared Hurd sold out his arena.
Absolutely.
I was at that fight.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Nice.
So
was it sold out? Was it sold out then?
Yeah, it was actually in Fairfax. It was in Fairfax.
Yeah, Virginia. Yeah, it was in Virginia.
Yeah. You know, right next door.
So Ryan, the guy who got 8 billion Instagram followers, couldn't even sell out his own arena.
Couldn't get 19 or 20,000.
He did 50% capacity, basically. But like I said, we don't know how many were sold. And they didn't talk about that. They had a lot of the tickets that went for $24. Okay. So with that, you have no leverage. Okay. Stop. You know, if you want to, I made a post about this today. If you want to go ahead and fight, stop with this WWE bullshit. You know what I mean? You know, just like Canelo, Tank, dictates the terms. If you want to fight, you show up based on those particular terms. Devin Haney took undesirable terms. We're not saying Tank's going to give Ryan undesirable terms. Hell, he offered Tevin Farmer $2 million deal.
Hey, hold up, Check. I've called him Tevin Campbell many times as well. And right now, he had as many fights as Tevin Campbell the last couple years. Shout out to Tevin Campbell tomorrow. Go ahead, brother.
I always make that mistake, and it's not. I don't mean to do it. It's just like, oops, I did it again.
Hold on, can we talk?
Yeah, right. Can we talk? Tomorrow. Come on, man. Shout it out.
Check. I just want to insert this, sir. See,
yes,
right
sir.
now, many of our followers are watching. Some of them may be sitting there thinking like, "Oh, these guys are in an echo chamber," and they're just, no, man. This is how boxing works, and like you were saying, man, like, I don't even think the guy sells. I don't think he's a draw, because at the next question, I'm going to be like, prove it. Put the numbers up. Put something up that's valid. And then I'm cool with everything they're telling me. Instagram followers, all that stuff. Great. Like I said to June and Julius earlier, I said, well, how does that translate to dollars? How's that going to help them in leveraging anything? And then it just comes out with insults, man. Shaming and guilt. And I'm just like, what are you guys like? Hey, man, something else, man.
We know that Tank had just did almost $5 million. He did basically the same amount with 18,000 fans as Earl did with 40,000 fans. You understand what I'm saying? Now, so that means the benchmark has been set. They consider $5 million or $4 million, whatever, they consider that a great success in boxing. Why? Because UFC I'm not UFC, but UFC or even basketball games themselves, the arenas, they only pull in like 2.5 million. You know what I mean? Per event. So they're looking at this as a great success. Ryan has not had that success. So I'm not bagging on Ryan as far as his skills, because to me, I think his skills is underdeveloped. I still think he's still trying to find himself. He hasn't hit his peak yet. He still has a lot of flaws. So I still think he's still showing prospect.
Prospective
He's still
move.
showing
Prospective
prospect type
move.
skills. But I will say he showed again. He had a crisp jab. He looked fast. So, but again, he was looking like that against somebody who should have been out of there. He should have
Hey,
been.
Oh
let
no,
me
he took a dive. He took a
let,
dive.
let me
He couldn't even make
this fair.
135. He couldn't even make
Right.
135.
Yeah.
He wasn't
Yeah.
in shape. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And this is a guy that started off at 126, but that couldn't even make 35. But let me say this, man, and everyone knows that Fortuna got 1 foot out of boxing, and it's fighting for paydays. And shout out to Al Heyman and Samson Lekowicz that is allowing him to go to other platforms and fight. That was the knock, that Al Heyman don't allow fighters to fight anybody.
Where did
But
that
he
come
just
from?
allowed.
Where did that
I don't know where this stuff. This came from. It's a very loud.
Who did he not let fight?
Yeah, look.
Did you hear me at the beginning of the show about what they say about?
Exactly. And I said again, the next time that someone hears his voice will be the first time. And not just that, but let me break down Ryan Garcia fighting for a second, because we talking about his at the box.
Let's focus on him. Yeah,
let me focus on this boxing, his style for a second. Oscar De La Hoya is the one person that he should be learning how to fight from. If Ryan Garcia was in the lightweight division 10, maybe even 15 years ago, we're talking about a journeyman. We're talking about a guy that would be 19-7. So he wouldn't be in no championship fights. He tried to use his speed, and he want to be so fast, but he sets up nothing. Now, he had a good fight because Fortuna was right there allowing him to do whatever he wanted to do. But let's be honest. He's going to benefit from, he's not on the level of Frank Martin at 35. He can't beat the Devin Haney's. I think he could be more competitive against a guy that can't punch than a puncher. So that way he better stay at 35 and not go up to 40. But in my opinion, we're talking about a journeyman type skill level. That's my opinion. Now, he may excel in today's market. But to me, I see him as a journeyman type skilled fighter.
Yeah, he can only fight real fast because it's quick. Like, he can only fight a couple styles, and that's guys who are coming forward and who really aren't worth a damn. And he's got better hands, and for better luck, they've matched him well like that. So this is why I always say, like, man, this guy, he's got the boxing world trick check, Junebug. Like, he's not on that level, man. He's not, and I'm not trying to be funny when I say that. I don't even know why I got to say that, but like,
You don't have to in this show. You just say he ain't built like that, But
like, people are talking like he is, gentlemen.
Yes,
because of his mouth, and like I said, his skill.
Because of
That's what he's
propaganda media.
That's what he's
It's the propaganda media. I don't even blame him because all boxers talk and all boxers, like, I'm the best, I'm the best, I'm the best, but it's a propaganda media trying to insert someone to build that economic engine around them the way they did Oscar, because they want to sidestep and act like these elite black fighters don't exist. When you're championing him, but you're ignoring a Jamel Charlo who just went undisputed and spectacular fashion by knocking out 4 champions for the belt. That to me, that's still fight of the year. But all you guys are talking about, absolutely. All of you, because I certainly don't have Canelo in there, and these guys still.
Oh no, he's out.
I'm not even gonna get on that. I'm not gonna get in that.
He's out of the top 10.
My vein of pop. But this is the thing here. They're doing all of this and artificially anointing him, and it just doesn't, you know what I mean? And you can see the racial component to this because so many people getting ignored. Now, if you really wanted Tank to do some, why aren't you guys calling out Lomachenko? You said he was God just a year ago or 2 years ago. He was God. He was number one before Canelo was number one, right? He was God before T.O. beat him. So why isn't Boxing Media pushing Tank Loma? That's the fight I want to see. And then the second one, I would like to see Tank Haney. You know what I mean? But I need them. The reason why I'm so passionate about Tank fighting Loma, because I know that he's artificially anointed. I know Tank is going to knock him out. I know it's not going to be as competitive as
Tank
people
beats
think.
them all.
You know what I mean?
Tank beats them all.
Right. So
them all,
once
man.
Tank slays that dragon, guess what? Propaganda media have to come up with something else. And right now they got their next person that they're anointing to the superstardom, right? And his name is Bam. His name is Bam.
Oh, right. Oh no. You're right. No, you're right. Because
so they already got him in line. Because they know Ryan going down if he ever fights Tank.
Yep. And let me say something. And it's going to be very limited conversations on this channel about modern 112 and 108 and 115 pound fighters.
That's right. I'm with
I don't care about the heavyweights. I don't care about the heavyweights at all.
But let me say something. In my opinion, the guys that have become pound for pound guys at those lower weight classes have got to have something exceptional about them. And even though I'm not the biggest NUA guy, if Bam is that guy, he's physically bigger than NUA. He can go up 3 pounds and take that challenge. And let me say something I've been saying before. I've said this on other shows, gonna say it on my show. Stop boxing, please. Let's stop making fights when guys are 32, 33, 36, 35 years old. Make these prime fights in guys' 20s, early 20s, 22, 23. It's okay for a 24-year-old fighter to fight a 22-year-old fighter. It's okay. Let's stop trying to build every single fight. Is not meant to be Leonard and Hearns. They're not meant to be Mayweather Pacquiao. They're not meant to be, Hearns, Hagler Hearns. There are certain fights that are supposed to be Mayweather Corrales. They're supposed to be those type of fights, bro. They're supposed to be 22-year-olds fighting a 24-year-old, and we both think they're the top guys. Because you know why? Because it's all a part of a division. And look, I'm not coming at you, checkmate. There doesn't have to be an undisputed fight in order to have a mega fight in a division.
Oh, that's just marketing. No, that's just marketing.
Yeah, that's marketing. Because we can have a Haney Shakur fight next. Because really, we would rather see that than Kambosos 2 on October the 15th. That's the date that's getting tossed around, October 15th. Do we really have to see the fight again? Not only that, but checkmate, I think I read something you had put about that. How they putting it in a smaller arena this time, right? So that means it's less money, less income they putting into this, less marketing. Like, man, we're not even going to hear about this fight till October the 9th. You get what I'm saying? Like, no one's going to be on it like that. Now, y'all can shoot on what I said.
Now, a couple things you said there. See, this is like, and what's, gosh, man, you know what's funny, checkmate? Ever since that live we did with Nika there, and you were, you had presented some videos and calling out Nao's record, his resume there, which I agree with totally. And he's my favorite fighter up there, next with the Errols and next with
right.
And so and Jamel. Now, this is what's crazy to me, and I brought this on my own space. And again, some of my boxing friends laughed me out and got really nasty about it because it's like they're just diluted or just don't respect reality. Dude, Gervonta Tank Davis is the same size as Inoue. He's 5'5", 67-inch reach. And people are not impressed with how his resume. I am just, it is unbelievable. I have their opponents who they faced for the last 7 or 8 guys. And basically I told them this. I said, dude, the Leo Santa Cruz win alone is better than any win Naoya has. And they just upheaval, man, blew up. And And I was just amazed that they couldn't understand that. But I think it's because they don't want to listen to that.
They don't
They
want.
know I'm right. I'm not trying to be right. That's correct.
Mhm.
Like, and frankly, what I think, and I told him this when I came back to the game early in late June or whatever, that when I came back to the Spear, I said, look, man, Inoue's having success because no one down there at that weight can take that power. And then they're asking Van to move up to the flea weights. I'm gonna take that from you there, checkmate. Because guess what? There's no one in that weight class. It's all boring shit, and that lets me know the weight class is weak. If he's got to be moving up and taking over, and I do respect to Bam because I like him, but like, you know, the way they talking about, I guess he's the next thing. You know, he can knock him hurting out. And I like what you said, Julius. I think you said fight. You were like, fight Naoya. He's bigger than him. He's got bigger dimensions. Yeah, but no. They would never do that. But coming back to Tank is blown. He's the same size as those guys, and he's really a 130 pounder. So like, old boy calling out at 140 is a joke. It's that I don't know, man. They're looking at the craziness of it all. Just it aggravates me there.
Yeah,
it's I just think you know, with that, especially with those flea weights, the problem is you have a limited amount of like elite athletes there. So therefore, your talent pool is very thin.
Family, man.
Okay, June, bro. You take care, brother. What you cook tonight?
Man, with this messed up arm here, I ain't cooking nothing, man. We finna go hit a drive-through, man.
All right, brother. You take care, man.
All right, brother, take it easy.
Next time you
blessed.
get on.
All right, I'll let you know because I'm gonna do some basketball stuff tomorrow. I might do another show tomorrow, depending on what happens tonight on boxing. But I'm definitely doing basketball tomorrow.
Word
All right,
up.
man, y'all fellas take care.
Okay,
All right,
June.
take it easy, my brother.
All right, go ahead, Chet.
Yeah, like I said, the talent pool is very thin at those
Right.
flea weights, and then you know, people said, you know, a lot of, I would say, non-Black American, okay, like a lot of Mexican boxing fans, and so you just don't like them because there's no black fighters down there. Like, well, guess what?
That's a
they're
lie.
going to be, I said, if there were elite talent down there, now Bam is the best I've seen down there, as far as he knew how to put his punches together. But the point is, like, again, there's reasons why people aren't into midget wrestling as opposed to, you know what I mean, full-fledged wrestling. It's just the reason for it. It's the reason why the higher weights sell, because you get the explosiveness, you get the skill, and you know, you get the talent pool.
Normal sized people.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not, you know, so, you know, that's just me. But when it comes to Tank, you know, and the way they, you know, tried to down him, listen, he went up, they said he's not, and I made a video, I don't know if you've seen a video I made about this, Jules, the other day. He made like they keep saying the regular belt. I told them and showed them that Tank has the same belt that Floyd had. I had a debate with Boxman, with Steve Boxman. Tank has the same exact. No, he was a super champion. I said, no, here it is. Where does it say? He was the unified champion, but he was a super champion at 154. And then I put Earl's down there. I said, well, it says Earl. Earl Spence is a WBA super champion, even though he has more than one belt. Okay, that's because, again, Floyd won the WBA world championship from Maidana. Okay, he was WBA world champion. He was not WBA super champion. So when Floyd won, they never elevated him in their database, and the belt doesn't correlate with their, you know what I mean, with their elevation. If you want to call him, no, I think maybe the WBA was salty and maybe pulled something on him, but he's only. They gave him a special trophy when he fought Pacquiao. That is the only super belt. But when he fought the last fight against Berto, he didn't come in the ring with that belt. I mean, he had the regular one. He had the one that he had won from Maidana.
WBA and the BC, right?
Check me.
So
I'm gonna be real frank with you. I like the belts, and I only like the belts when they're with guys who I like. But I always been telling people, like, look, I want to be consistent. Like, there are times where we respect regular champions, and there are times that we don't respect them. We're just going to respect them flat out. And then the really negative part about the belts, parts I don't like is that it's hard to see who the best fighters are. It's very hard, and people, and I've been telling my people on my other spears, like, look, man, all champions are not created equal. They're just not. You should, and like I believe everyone kind of knows that, unless you're just blatantly just
ignoring it.
Ignoring that. Like, we all know that. So I think that the belts really that are hindrance. There is what I'm trying to get at. Where like it's very hard to distinguish the best boxers because of all their mess.
And I agree, but my point is that he has that belt, but they say the super belt is for someone who has multiple titles, which is, again, they contradict their rules all the time, because Ugas didn't have multiple belts as well, but they made it so this says the super champion only they're supposed to have multiple belts, and then and so forth. So and then they had
Ugas was the outright champion, though.
Right?
Ugas was the outright. Yeah.
So then my point is this: they're trying to diminish him. Now, the fact is, Tank went up and fought 140 pounds. It went from 130 to 140 and beat Barrios. You can say what you want about Barrios. I think the guy's got some skill. I just don't think he got that dog in him. But if you look at his highlight reel, he's been clocking some people. So you know what I mean? I think he's not a bum at all. So that was a great win. Absolutely. Absolutely,
it rivals his best wins, is what it is. Because, like you're saying, sir,
Leo's number one for sure. That's a Hall of Famer.
Mario Barrios, right. Mario Barrios is a very good boxer, and if you line him up how we line up some of our other favorites, he's going to have success. It was
a degree of difficulty that made it a great fight.
He would beat Ryan Garcia.
Right.
Yeah, I want to add something on Barrios too, guys. Barrios is a very, very tough fighter, because remember the fight when he won the WBA title at 140, and he went through a broken cheekbone, grotesque swelling of the face, and he still knocked the guy down to secure the win in the 12th round. Mario Barrios is a real tough fighter, and Tank get real credit for that win for me, not just because he won, but he stopped him.
100%.
Well, he had to, gentlemen. He was losing that fight. That was his ticket way out.
Okay, well let me say this about Tank losing rounds. Okay, being as though Tank is 5'5", okay, and he's following these,
You're talking to a huge Tank lover, though, man. Like,
right.
I think.
Well, let me.
Go ahead.
Let me put it this way. So, being as though he's 5'5", he's at a disadvantage at pretty much every fight he fights, right?
Yeah,
he's 5'5", he's got the shorter reach, shorter height, shorter length, right? So therefore, he said himself he was uncertain how he was going to approach it, because he's never been in a fight with a 140. So with Tank, what he did, again, it wasn't like Barrios was beating him up. Tank was just waiting, and then he got in when he got in, and then he made it happen when he made it happen. Because from that point, from the first knockdown, the fight was all in Tank's hands at that point. I think I gave, from the first knockdown, what was it? It was the 8th round or something like that?
I
think 6th or 8th round, something like that. But after that, I think Barrios may have won one round after that. But Tank, once he decides he's going to take over, he's going to take over. The same thing with Rowley. Okay, they said, "Oh, Tank had a horrible fight." I said, "Well, Rowley only landed 22 punches." Listen, check this out. So they said, "How great! Oh, Rowley, he showed me he did this. He landed 22 punches." Guess what? Javier Fortuna landed 24 punches. Okay, so they say Javier Fortuna had a horrible fight, but they both threw 115 punches, and it says that Fortuna landed 24, while while
I didn't know that. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I made a post about that. So right. So when you see that they praise one fighter for landing 22 punches in the loss, and a KO loss, and then they down the other fighter who landed 24 punches, and they both threw 115 punches. Them hyping Ryan up is what it is, and trying to anything Tank do, they're going to try to downplay it and discourage and discredit and just undervalue him. Go ahead.
Well, I'm gonna get on this subject, and one day we're gonna have a big old discussion about Twitter accounts and spaces that actually that's
Uh-oh.
that are small in number, but have a negative effect on on boxing, because a lot of times it's like anything in life. The average person that you talk to is not a bad person. It's the loud few, that'll get up here and diss Tank Davis and all his accomplishments. Will diss Al Heyman and all his accomplishment, but then go and praise Eddie Hearn even if he's being racist. It's those type of people that give the media that wants to bring about controversy, and they don't care what way they can do it. It give them that fire to be able to go and do it, because they know, look, I can put this out and I know I got that person and that person that's going to be loud on Twitter, or they're going to be loud on Facebook. They're going to be loud on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? It's that crew. And that's the part of boxing that really we need to weed those people out, because I get on Twitter every day just looking, and I see the same old people that's like in arguments or make fake arguments up every single day. Like, I be thinking to myself, like, you're fussing about Tank Davis every single day, whether he fighting or not. It ain't no Tank Davis news going on, and you see people talking about Tank Davis, or they talking trash about Earl Spence, to lift Bud up. But if Bud say that Bob Arum did racist things to him, you omit that. So, like I said, man, and that fraction of people that I'm talking about are not Mexican. Some of them look like me.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Because
I really want to
has.
have that conversation. I really want.
Yeah, we're gonna have that conversation.
Not tonight, but
Yeah, we're gonna have that conversation.
I'm yes, sir. You're right about weeding them out, and man, if you look at my following of boxing Twitter, I don't follow anyone negative. Anyone now? I got some negative friends in Twitter, who, especially the ones who will pipe about that and kind of carry that on, that conversation. But on the real, I don't even give those people the time of day. Talking about our adversaries in this sense, but like, I don't engage with any of that type of boxing. So what I'm really trying to say at the end of the day is, like, it's kind of funny that still lands in some of our own conversations with some of the people that we speak on the daily, conjugate with on the timeline. It's insane.
And like I say, the media looks at what's going on in Twitter, and I'll tell you an example. You got guys like Dan Raphael, even when he was working at ESPN and others, okay? And I'm just naming them out. Mike Coppinger, we've seen this, where they'll get a story from someone on Twitter and post it.
Yeah.
We've seen it.
Yeah.
We've seen it. We've seen misinformation thrown out like it's nothing, and people run with it.
Every day.
And being honest, those type of people, like for myself, it wouldn't matter to me, brother, if it was 4 million people listening or 4 people listening. You're gonna get the same old me. People put on a show on Twitter, and like I say, they hurting fighters' careers. Be honest, they hurt their fighters, these fighters' careers, because they give these promoters, and everybody got their team out looking to see what is hot. What is people talking about on Twitter? What is people talking about on this fighter on Facebook? What are they saying on Instagram about this fighter? And they get that negativity in there, and they say, oh, so we ain't got to make that fight. Because don't nobody want to see so-and-so, because like they said, oh, they don't sell no tickets, so why make that fight? I think that's,
Ryan Garcia selling,
but the Ryan Garcia train, right.
I am. I'll say this too,
Mhm.
and then not to change subjects really, but let's talk about
That's fine.
boxing.
You can change it. You can change
No,
it.
no, but I'll say this too. Like, I'm surprised my own favorite people are talking about Ryan Garcia. Now, I get it. I love your opinion, but I am really surprised we are talking like that, and people. Some of my favorite people are talking about they want that fight with Javante.
I don't want
Don't
it
they
personally.
realize? Oh no, I don't. It's a trash fight. Javante will
Mhm.
annihilate him in 6 rounds or less.
Well, my
Especially if they
problem is,
exchange. If they exchange, it is over. I've
well,
seen Javante take. If it's anyone else, that's a knockout. He's a very tough fighter, man. I've seen him get knocked. I watched the Leo. I made my some of my best friends. They're casuals. I made them watch Leo and Tank the other night. And before the fight started, my one of my best friends, in fact, real fast, this guy in my picture here, Alex,
Okay.
because I show him Naoya all the time.
Right.
He was like, "Oh man, no man." He's like, "No, I don't watch this guy. No, I think it's boring, man." And then we're watching and watching and watching, and Tank is that the casual is like they like the violence, the aggression aspect.
Mhm.
So Tank is taking punch after punch after punch, eating punch after punch after punch, and he took 3 on the chin to lay that ending uppercut.
Oh yeah.
Imagine that. So,
Absolutely.
man, Ryan ain't got no. He stands no chance.
And he came
Not
underneath, and that's the thing. Even this
not even
video that's
close.
floating around when Tank Davis was 6 years old, it's something I say to
Did
y'all,
you see that
man.
body shot he took? He ate.
Yeah,
That kid
and then
laid
he
it low
landed,
like Ray Leonard, and he
and
made
man, that
moves.
left
He
hand
pivoted.
sounded like a shotgun from a 6-year-old.
Straight.
And checkmate. And I know that Steph, you're a big Tank Davis fan, man. And listen, it doesn't bring me joy to say something discouraging about a brother. It doesn't. It don't
Uh-oh.
bring me joy. But
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna stick to something I've said before, man. I would love to see Tank Davis get with a trainer that can capitalize in the pro ranks. The best route for him to be violent without having to take violence, you know, as well going forward.
Let me defend, and maybe you can understand this because this is coming back to what Checkmate was saying earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Look, man, he's 5'5". He's small. Everyone he's fighting is twice his size. They're bigger than him.
You
So
know,
they're going to be able to hang on. They're going to be able to have it, essentially his way with him. Now everyone's always like they always. One of I really don't want to say his name, but I got a homie in the Northeast, man, who I'm going to use the word he hates him because of his resume. He doesn't hate him, but like he's like he didn't fight nobody. I'm like, dude. And when we go on that rabbit hole of his campaign there, but I'm like, look, man, he can do it all. We just don't see it because my excuse here is that he's too small. He's a 130. He started at 26. He's a 130
he
guy.
started at 126.
So-
Absolutely.
So it's hard to it's almost hard to see everything. He's at a disadvantage for everything.
you know,
A disadvantage.
Steph,
But what I'm saying is he can fight back foot, front foot. He look at
He showed that in the Isaac Cruz fight with broken
Oh
hand.
yeah, he had to get on his
How he can box.
harmed.
Absolutely.
He was harmed. He had to figure it else out. But here's the thing: he's got knockout power in both hands, and I keep saying this. If Tank was 5'9", all these boys be in trouble. All these boys be in trouble. All these boys be in trouble. All of them be in trouble.
Let me say this though. Steph, checkmate. I'm gonna go back to something I have said before, and checkmate definitely have heard me say this. There's a guy that is a super fighter that just retired that has the same dynamics as Tank Davis and also got lead in both of his hands by the name of Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao is one of the best small fighters that's a puncher to watch, to show what
Tank
you
on PEDs.
Well, let's taking PEDs aside, he has a good style that can offset bigger fighters, and you don't have to take a whole lot of damage. Look at Manny Pacquiao's career. At 26, 22, at 122, 126, and 130, he took a lot of lead. He took a lot of punches. But when he went to 35 on up till he retired, Manny Pacquiao wasn't in those type of wars.
I see where you're going. I see where you're going. No, I see where you're going. This is why you want him to go to someone else.
And that's the thing. Tank Davis gonna have to. And I'm saying this like I'm a Manuel Stewart or somebody, but I'm just saying what my observation is. He's gonna have to become an in and out fighter, and he's gonna have to get in and get out before the other guy can get off. He can't stand in front of guys and let a 140-pound Santa Cruz, I'm just using for example, land 2 or 3 shots to get the uppercut underneath while he punching. Tank Davis is going to have to get in, get out, get in, and he'll find out one thing if he start using his speed and getting in and getting out. Tank Davis is going to find out that not only is he not going to be getting hit with shots, he's going to be knocking people out cold faster. Because Rolly shouldn't have lasted that long. Rolly didn't do nothing, but he should have been out of there in 2 rounds. But I'm not going to that's nitpicking. Okay, he knocked him out.
Let me tell you this.
That's fair. Checkmate. That's good. That's really good because I feel a little deterred just a wee bit there because I just started following Tank's guys. Shout out to the Rise podcast. I started just following those guys. So I'm really I'm doing my homework right now on the coaching to back up Julius there. But that's a really good eye right there. That's a really good eye because here's the thing. I'm not going to lie. I think he is that good. I think he's already displayed those things, but he could be better, man. Tank could be the #1 selling thing going. Yeah. I mean, I'm talking straight up Floyd numbers type because he provides all of that. And I don't like this, but like he has the negative appeal. And I don't know if you've noticed, Julius, but he's been trying to change that image. He's not as
he's being a family guy
and wearing all those chains and things like that. He's going for a, dare I say, a youthful look.
Yeah, he is. He's a little older now. But let me say this, Check, and I'm gonna give you the floor. If Tank Davis can employ an in and out style where he coming in, being violent, and getting out of the way before guys can do anything, and wearing them down, breaking them down, he gonna have to do more body work. Tank Davis, man, can fight up at welterweight because his punching power is welterweight punching power. Now, look, when people started saying Manny Pacquiao can go up to welterweight and fight De La Hoya or can fight this guy and that guy, people were like, oh my God. You know why? Because they were looking at the 118-pound, or they were looking at that 122-pound guy that fought Barrera or that fought Eric Morales at 26 and got outboxed, or took all those punches at 130. They didn't look at his skill set. Tank Davis' skill set and his punching power is beyond welterweight. His one punch power is better than Bud Crawford's and Earl Spence. Now, people ain't gonna like that, but it's
I like that.
One punch. His one punch. He's on a junior middleweight level of punching power. But the other aspect of the fight, you know what I'm saying, would prevent him from beating a welterweight. But if he can clean it up, he can fight at welterweight.
Now, I also want to throw this in before you check this talk. I've talked to Calvin Ford and Mickey Bay personally and got to interview them via Chicken Talk. Yeah, there's that. And Julius, I'm going to do some research, man. And I'm going to be thinking about that. And I'm going to steal that from you, sir. I like that. And what more deservingly compliment than Manny Pacquiao? Because that's exactly what you're saying, and that's true. Those are facts, sir. So I'm gonna be thinking about this one Go ahead,
Uh,
Check. I
Go
want to
ahead,
hear what
Check.
you respond to that.
Floor yours, Check.
Yeah, I agree everything what you said, the in and out style, and he does that to an extent. He's always done that because he just doesn't stay there. You know what I mean? When the punches that he does take, he takes from people that he know he can take it from. So there's a difference between Barrios and Raleigh and Leo and other people he's fought, right? So he understands. Even so, the point is, once he gets them hurt, he it once he start going forward, there's no stopping him. And even in the cruise, had he not broken his hand, the game plan, which Calvin Ford has said on multiple occasions, the game plan was for Tank to start stepping it up at the sixth round. And as you saw, even after he messed his hands up, he backed Cruz up at will when he chose to do it. You know what I'm saying? He evaded punches when he chose to evade it. He stand there in a high guard when he choose to stand there in a high guard. Manny Pacquiao, the difference is Manny Pacquiao was so explosive. Like Tank got power. Manny Pacquiao, whatever he was taking, fish food, salt water, whatever he was taking, whatever he was taking, Manny Pacquiao was still. We all know what it is. We all know anchovies, some balut. If anybody knows what Filipino food is,
but he had real power, though. That's what I'm talking about.
But that's my point. But he had power. He had speed. That was the style he's always had with those rapid fire combination punches. Tank is a very economical puncher, so therefore their style of punching, he would have to develop that, which means okay, now you got to really test your stamina, because if you're going to let go your hands like that, the way Manny did, you really got to have that stamina. To date, we all know Tank. The only time I really saw him have stamina problems is I would say at the end of he doesn't really have stamina problems. But my thing is that the way he styles, the way he fights, like you said, Julian, he goes in and out. He'll do that. When he felt the guy that's on the spectrum, he just fought. That was the guy he just fought. Raleigh, okay, right. So when he felt Rolly's power, he said, "Oh, I ain't gonna stand there and take that." So he was very calculated. You know what I mean? Could he been more offensive? Yeah, he could. But his thing was, hey, I know this guy is going to make the mistake, and all I'm going to do is capitalize on the mistake. I'm not going to get myself in unnecessary wars. There's a lot of boxers that's walking around here who can barely put two sentences together because they were in unnecessary wars. If you listen to James Toney talk, it's not pretty. If you listen to Tommy Hearns talk, it's not pretty. So Floyd has kind of preached this in him, take as less punishment if you possibly can take. Now, when you fight against fighters who don't really have that type of pop in you, you can afford to take some to give some. You know what I'm saying? So all of his fights have, to me, they're not all the same. Tank does not have a cookie cutter approach. Is he going to get better? Yes. Should he adopt more of that classic Manny Pacquiao in and out against the biggest fighters? Yes, I agree. That means he's going to have to do the rapid fire. He can't keep doing it. 1, 2. He's going to pop, pop, pop. He's going to have to do a 1, 2, 3 in and out, pop, 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 pop to the body, pop, pop, pop. You know what I mean? But and I wanted to say this because I wanted to say this before we get back on this. I wanted to double back. When he fought, again, as far as fighting Ryan, because I really wanted to double back on this. When his fight, as far as the Ryan, the reason why I'm not interested in it, it's not for legacy. He gains absolutely nothing. He doesn't gain a belt. He doesn't gain legacy. All these guys keep talking about Tank stepping up. Well, guess what? I don't even have Ryan in my top 5 at 135. So to me, he gains nothing. What do you mean? What, he's going to gain Instagram followers? You know what I mean?
let me add something. Let me stop you there for 1 second, Check. 2 things. I'm gonna say something about that Ryan and and Tank conversation. Going back to why James Toney and Thomas Hearns can barely talk or finish sentences. 2 things with them, though. 2 things. Both of those guys were at the highest level late in their 30s. Now, Tank Davis and guys like that are 26, 27, 24, 25. James Toney won a share of the heavyweight title at like 35, 36, starting at 160. Thomas Hearns in his mid to late 30s, won a cruiserweight title. Started off his career at 47. So and the cruiserweight was 190 at that time. But it just shows you to the effect of great teaching will allow guys, and James Toney and Thomas Hearn fought killers their whole career. Killers that
especially Tommy. We were talking about him earlier. He's quality. He's nothing but quality.
God knows.
The Ray Leonard and
Ray Leonard and Roberto Duran. Let's not even count Hagler. He done fought 2 of the top 20 fighters of all time. James Toney fought
really nice too, man.
In his prime.
And listen, check this out though. Yeah. But I get what you're saying, Jules. They were fighting elite fights, so they went through that. But guess what? At 27 fights, Tank has a better resume and better accomplishment than Tommy Hearns had at 27 fights. I made a post about that, did a breakdown on that, because I made a post saying, who do you think who was the better fighter at I think at 25 fights, 26 fights at the time? And I said Hearns or Tank, and everybody said Thomas Hearns. And then I just after they picked, then that's when I produced the facts. I said, well, this is who Tommy Hearns fight. You didn't know any of his fighters at their particular time. Now Tommy Hearns was a great fighter. But what I was saying that to say you can't detract from Tank because he's still fighting fighters and he's still making these accomplishments. He still was 3 times 130 champion 3 times. He still had the 135 and 140 for the WBA world. So either ways, don't try to uplift others and diminish someone and call him not great. If you compare him to those others, then you're like, wow, it will open your eyes. Look at Tommy Hearns, look at him, or look up his back record, Wikipedia record, whatever the case may be, and look at Tank. And at the same stage, you're going to be amazed, right? Because this is what
then hold on. Today. Now, it's one name in his first 27 fights that I know it's 2 names that was good wins, but I know that people did not know who they were. And that was Pepino Cuevas and also and who was a world champion, a former world champion at that time at welterweight. He lost his title, to Thomas Hearns in his first 25 fights. And I know a lot of people didn't know that name, but he was considered a guy. And he also beat Donald Curry's brother. Hold on, guys.
Right. Well, he beat Donald Curry's brother, not Donald Curry.
Right.
So this is my problem again with the with that when they talk about him, because you can see it and I can see it. Yes, I'm a huge Tank fan. I'm not a huge Tank fan just because it's Tank. He got to bring something to the table. So I'm impressed with his speed. I'm impressed with his athleticism. I'm impressed with his power. I'm impressed with his boxing skills. I'm impressed with his stamina. I'm impressed with his footwork. I'm impressed with his timing. There's everything that you want in a fighter. The only limitation that he has is his height. So being at 5'5", being as though he's the same height as anyway, but he's going up against these giants.
It's way more impressive. Oh my goodness.
Right. So
way more impressive.
Right. So there's a level of degree of difficulty that should be applied to Tank every time he fights those bigger fights. Remember, he's only had 3 fights at 135. People act like he's been there forever, and they keep saying, well, who hasn't fought at 135? Well, I also made a post again. None of those guys have fought the top tier talent at 135. The reason why I'm saying is Loma has never fought a top tier guy at 135 ever. When he fought Tio, Tio was 15-0. With 15-0 with 12 knockouts, he had just won Prospect of the Year like two fights ago. Well, he just beat Comey, but you guys know I think Comey is trash, so that's another story.
Right,
Comey is trash.
But so my thing is, he wasn't a top fighter at 135. It was, you know what I mean? We liked him. I was a T.O. fan because I still considered him a prospect. And then obviously,
but check, I'm gonna tell you this real fast. I'm speaking more on the style to make him more effective. And one thing I was gonna add this real quick, and then you can shoot on it. I also feel that in boxing, that guys, I've seen Barrera turn from a face first brawler. Only throw left hooks to a guy that can jab, and he extended his career into his 30s and won world titles. Even beat Prince Nassim with that same method. I think that Tank Davis can change. I think that you was right, Check, when you said him hurting his hand against Cruz made him go into his toolbox and pull out that hammer, and not that hammer, but maybe the screwdriver, and be able to just box from the outside. And that's what I want to see. I want to see Tank Davis get with a trainer that can elevate those dimensions that he already got. You get what I'm saying? Now you can go ahead. That's what I want you to answer on.
No, I mean, again, every fighter can enhance themselves. You know what I'm saying? But from what again, as far as what we see of Tank, the reason why he's a superstar today is based on what he's got, the tutelage he's gained from Calvin. So we can't automatically dismiss it because he hasn't lost. He hasn't went in a fight and showed flaws like, oh man, he really sucked at this. His footwork was really this. The only fight that I was disappointed in, even though he dominated in a better fashion than Devin and Bud, is when Gamboa, because he only went there looking for the knockout. He didn't train properly. He was going through some personal things. He was going through a lot of personal things, court situations and everything else. You know what I mean? He wasn't seeing the big picture at that particular time. So and I was like, I like the boxing Tank. And when he fought Gamboa, all he was doing is swinging for the home run. I don't like when Tank just swing for the home run. I love when Tank set it up. If it's got to take you a couple rounds to set it up, I'm all down for it. So what you're saying, Julius, okay, get with another trainer to implore some of these skills that you feel like they evolve Tank. But like I said, to me, he's a superstar talent already, and I just believe that what he's been doing so far is working. I would love to see Floyd train him. You know what I mean? He had trained with Floyd for one fight. I would love to see him train with Floyd for an entire fight and see it because you're learning from the best. So
let me introduce my man. Just came in. Art Man, what's going on with you, brother? Thanks for coming in.
Man, what's going on, man? I've been working all day, and
I seen you up there. I heard you say you've been painting all day, man.
What's going on, Art?
Yep, I've just been working, man. I've been I've been busy, man. I got a baby on the way.
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations on that, my brother.
Yep, definitely congrats. And I know it'll be here soon. Also, Art Man, we got Steph here, Steph B.
What's up, Art Man? All right, Mike.
What's going on, man?
It's clever, man. You're in my a couple nights ago.
Yeah. And we right here, we've been shooting a little bit on, we touched on Jake Paul, we touched on Ryan Garcia, and right now we was talking about Tank Davis. Give us your outlook, man, on what you think gonna happen. The Danny Garcia and Benavidez is coming up next weekend, man. Give us your thoughts. I'm gonna step off for 1 second, but give me your thoughts. Break it down.
I can't wait for that fight. Man. Danny Garcia is about to knock this dude all the way out. I'm talking about highlight reel. What's that dude he fought? Salka? He gonna do him like that. Because this guy has one leg. He doesn't throw a lot of punches, and his defense is nowhere to be found. So, yeah. He's going to get knocked down like the 6th round. It's going to be funny as shit, though. But it is what it is. Sacrifices got to be made.
He's a sacrificial lamb in 154, huh?
Yeah.
Well, they both moving up.
They're experimenting with his ass.
Yeah, so Benavidez is not a true 154. He just moving up. So
neither is Danny. But Danny looked
right.
I ain't gonna lie. Danny been looking good at that weight. Pause.
He looking yoked. Yeah. So I expect Danny to win. I think Benavidez is faster, but I think Danny got that equalizer in that power. So I actually expect Danny to have an easier fight than Bud. I believe Danny's going to get him out of there faster than Bud did.
Most definitely. How long ago was that fight with Bud and what's his name, Benavidez?
4 years ago when he first came up. It was 4 fights ago. Well, he only had 5 fights at Bud only had 5 fights at 147. So it was his second fight at 147. It was 3 fights ago.
Okay. But yeah, see, a long time ago, he gonna get knocked the hell out. It's really not that much to say about that fight. Besides, he's gonna get knocked the hell out. I don't expect nothing less.
Yeah,
Talking about Benavidez.
yeah.
I
I know he had the damaged leg because he was shot. I don't know if it's healed or not. I don't know if he's going to still have those same issues. But we're
Did
about
y'all
to
see
see.
his last fight?
No, I
He
didn't see
fought
his
what,
last
like
fight.
6 months ago, something like that.
No, it was
Yeah.
it was a little while ago.
About a year ago.
Nah, I would say like 8 months ago.
Okay, that's what I
And
thought. Something like that.
He basically robbed the guy, but the fight was so bad nobody cared.
Yeah, I didn't see it at all.
Exactly. If you watch that shit, you'd be like, man, oh yeah, he definitely about to get knocked out. Just like Julius boy Ramen. Ramen noodle.
Yeah.
Man, I'm sorry, brother, but man, the way he's talking, it sounds like he going there to just.
Well, that's what Steph says. Steph feel that he gonna take a dive, but you know, I said this. I don't see the brother taking a dive, but again, hey, look, I'm not crazy. I don't know if they done got him in the back room and something had. Hey, brother, we about to hand you this $1 million. You know what to do. I don't know if that happened, but I will say this: it's gonna take a great acting job for Rockman to lose that fight and make that thing look believable. I'll put it to you that way. You know what I'm saying? Because I know he's better than Jake Paul in every aspect of the game, you know.
You could say the same
I
about
seen him in
Fortuna.
Floyd Mayweather's sparring. You know, they had like that. There's some famous clip of the doghouse.
Yeah, he sued Floyd for that.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, because his brother got beat up pretty rough, and then he came in the ring and beat that guy. And that brother that they were sparring, he died also, man. He got killed by
Oh no.
yeah, the British guy. Yeah, rest in peace, Cameron. He got shot by his girlfriend, dad or something. You know, in Vegas. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, he died years later. So that was a tragic situation all the way around, man. That sparring session, the suing, and then on top of that, Rockman Jr. also had done 3 years in prison in regards to a car accident. And that's part of the reason that this matchup is taking place because Art Man, he was a decent amateur and he lost like 4 or 5 years of his career right there. So he never really developed. So it's a lot of back story to this fight that the great Jake Paul ain't even touching on because like Steph said, Clevery said, hey, he's real good at selling this fight. So he been selling this fight and he ain't had to go into his bag about those things about Rockman that's happened.
Nah, not at all. I just put the fight on actually.
Yeah.
I bet you Andre Ward probably he just got the top on. He probably in some athletic shorts. He just got
Yeah,
the
absolutely. All right, man, let me touch on this subject real fast. I'm gonna let everybody talk about this before we get off and watch this fight because we can get back on when it's over. Art Man, I had read where you had said that you were sick and tired of seeing friends in boxing. So I'm about to touch on that real fast, and we're gonna talk a few minutes about
I
it.
didn't say friends in boxing. I said I don't like where guys are friendly.
Friendly, okay.
Fight each other, knowing that if you're not on the top of your game, you can get killed in there.
Yeah, well, we're gonna touch on being friendly in boxing and friends, and I'm gonna say this, bro. I am with you 100%. You don't have to be disrespectful to a fighter to want to beat him up real bad, but the buddy, you know, acting like you going to a basketball game, I feel you 100%. What y'all guys think about that? You can go ahead and start, Chet.
Buddy, but listen, if I'm good friends, there's certain. Listen, if it's my best friend, I probably won't fight him. I won't fight him just like two brothers won't fight. The Klitschko's ain't fight. The Charlos will never fight each other. You know, so there's certain situations where if you know, like if you're in the same camp, you got the same coach. I don't see why you have to fight personally.
Let me add something real fast, and then I want you to shoot on it. It was two fighters named Simon Brown and Maurice Blocker. They were such good friends. Brown moved to Washington, D.C. from Jamaica. Those guys were so good friends, man. They had spent nights at each other's house as kids. And both of them won world titles at 47. Simon Brown even won a fight at 54 for a belt. But guess what? When they fought each other, even though they stayed at each other's house as kids, I don't know too many boxers that got that type of relationship with another fighter unless they were brothers. And them guys try to kill each other in a fight. But go ahead, Chet.
No, I was just saying I understand because your relationship after the fight, you know what I'm saying? You know, may never be repaired. You know what I mean? There's just I don't know. For me, there's certain things that you know what I mean. If we have to fight for undisputed, then guess what? Again, okay. Now I got two belts. You got two belts.
Fighting for $50,000. Hell,
we ain't fighting. If there's something, a legacy, something huge, and on the line, and we fighting for undisputed, and whatever the case may be. Look, I might say, listen, brother, I'm gonna drop my belt. I'm gonna drop one of these belts. I'm gonna drop my belts and move up. You get it, and then whatever the case may be. And you know, after you win it, you return a favor. You drop it. I'll fight somebody else for whatever. You never know.
I'm back in the 8th round with a left hook, and I'm gonna put $10 million on that happening.
Again, that's a touchy situation because some people was legitimately friends, like brothers, and you know what I mean, and they're very close. And you know, like for instance, Devin and Shakira say they're going to fight. They've been friends and they've been very close. They're going to fight. But what I'm thinking about right now, I'm thinking about Errol Spence versus Jermell Charlo. I don't ever want to see them fight.
Why?
Because they're stable mates. They're trained by the same coach. And it's just, again, they have a sort of like this brotherly bond. And I don't personally ever want to see them
that's
fight.
different. I want to see that.
I want to see it too.
I want to see it too. I don't argue you guys' opinion. I think you have a reason and your reason for that. But for me, I personally don't ever want to see Earl.
I understand. Fight. Okay.
I respect you guys' opinion. If it happens, you think I'm gonna watch? Hell yeah, I'm gonna watch.
No doubt.
That clip. Brian Custer got to see it.
What?
Yeah. Talk like it was intense.
Man, I bet you Errol was tagging that body up because when Errol coming down, you know, in weight, he be at 154 sparring those guys. He already be at that weight. So him fighting Charlo, I don't think that's nothing, man.
Bigger than that, Art, man. He'd be bigger than that. He probably 160ish, like late 60s, like 68. He's a big guy. He spars middleweights and super middleweights like on the regular, because he just be working on stuff. So like that's common.
On Twitter, and people kind of looked at me crazy. I said I don't care. I think Boots on his very first fight at 168, I think he can beat Plant.
Hey, you ain't that far off.
Yeah, Boot is an elite talent.
Yeah, you're not that far off.
I don't know. I know y'all be giving, you know, Ray and you guys be giving, you know, Plant this, but I think Plant is talented. I just think, you know, he showed he was green versus Canelo, even though I had him winning by the stop.
No, Checkmate. You don't bubble back. No.
I had Plant ahead by the time of the stoppage.
I'm gonna put my best
shit. Like I was talking about that friendly shit, nigga. You in there? You like the way I fight? Man, I can kill you right now with a
right.
See, man.
That was horrible. That was disgusting.
I'm sorry.
I was embarrassed. I felt shame watching that.
Hey,
what was that again? Remind me again.
Hey, Saul, look pretty good for 15-0, huh? Yeah, nah, man, we don't need that.
He's taking your O right now.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with boxing. Nothing.
Well,
Hey,
look about that fight. Like,
Yeah.
you know, there were some complications early because yes, Plant did want some more money, and he got it, and he got it because Canelo. Sorry, I got my eyes on this fight.
That's
Canelo
right.
Canelo wanted the belt. He wanted the fight, so he got honored that. And no, he beat up that bad Philly shell, man. Like he
it was
beat that dude up.
horrible.
He beat him up, and kind of
Hey.
coming back to like the friends in boxing. I'm
Yeah.
with it all. You know, you guys will hear me say this a lot. Like you gotta take the good, the bad, and the ugly. And then Checkmate, you said something that I really want to bounce off because this is just life itself. Life is about forgiveness, reconciliation. So if someone beats you for that however amount of money and you hold a grudge on that, man, you don't have to. That says more about you, and you're gonna have to just forgive the situation and move forward.
Right.
But it's also
If you
normal
offer me $50
behavior.
million,
To,
let's go.
It's okay.
Let's rock.
but for normal, but I'm just saying, it's normal behavior for someone to do that and hold a grudge. So like, I mean,
What about
Yeah.
It is what it
Charlo
is.
fought J-Rock?
No, I haven't has said anything about J-Rock today. I know that he put
No, I said, did you remember that fight, Charlo versus J-Rock?
oh yeah, competitive
yeah.
fight.
After the fight,
Oh, he didn't shake his hand.
he was like, "Nah, fuck all that."
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I like that
Yeah.
too, Art, man. I like that too. I
I'm
you know,
cool.
in
that's
fact,
Keep it
I
100. I'm gonna
loved.
keep it 100.
I like that
I-
too. I like that. the mean
I loved
streaks
when
about
when literally I got nothing wrong with him or with him trying to go and make quick amends, but I got also no problem with Deontay getting up off the canvas and saying, "Look, man, I still don't respect you. Get away from
Oh,
me."
Yeah.
you talking about
And let me add,
I
I'm
got,
gonna
I
add
got no
on
problems
to
with
the
that.
fight.
He
I'm gonna
lost the
add
fight.
on a
How do you expect
situation
him to
here.
be docile in that moment? Like, for real?
Absolutely.
I don't respect you, dude.
Yeah,
At all.
and
And I understand that shit.
right. And here go a fight. It was in the early '90s. Terry Norris fought a guy.
Ray Leonard fought him too, man.
He beat up. Yeah, he unfortunately the great Ray Leonard from Rocky Mount, North Carolina.
The best boxer, the best pure boxer ever.
Yes, sir. He did get beat up by terrible Terry Norris, but
Terry Norris broke my heart beating his ass.
yeah, but let me tell you about Terry Norris and tell you about a guy that was hardcore, that did not care, and he wasn't trying to make friends with you. He fought a guy named Paul Vaden. Okay, Paul Vaden won the world title at 154 as well. All right, he was from out of San Diego, California, man. And Paul Vaden was a real built guy, but Paul Vaden took Terry Norris' wife from him
Oh man,
a year or so before the fight.
Aye.
Took his wife. See, I like beef. I like that kind of stuff in boxing.
Man, I mean,
And now-
okay, I like that, but damn,
Hey,
man.
but let me tell you this. So Terry Norris in perfect form. See, because he could have took this thing to the street. He said, "No, I want to give you a payday. I want to give you a payday. You a former champ. You credible, but you took my woman. We got to fight." He gave Paul Vaden a title fight and beat him halfway to death. He was beating him. He had a chance to knock him out. He held him up and beat him. He beat him. Gave him a 12-round beating.
And back then, the ref wasn't just gonna wave it off.
No, won't no waving off. He would beat him and he would bounce back and get on his toes and give him a chance because he didn't want no stoppage, no mercy stoppage. But let me say why I said terrible Terry Norris. Because boxers come in all different forms. You got some friendly boxers like Evander Holyfield would shower you with blessings and come to the ring with church music and have a priest out there and all that, and would try, God's choice, and would try to kill you in the ring. Terry Norris was a guy that was about disrespecting you. He would hit you between the legs. He would hit you if you would fall down after knocking you down. You got to get this guy this. He beat a guy, Luis Santana. He really beat him 3 times, but he fouled out against him twice, beating him. You get what I'm saying? He wanted to hurt this guy so bad. And to the last time, they finally was like, come on, Terry. You can't hit him low. You can't hit him after the bell. And he knocked him out. But I'm just saying, these are different guys in boxing that didn't believe in friends.
Like
so they would fight their enemy or friend.
If you're too friendly, I feel like you basically gave your belt up to the dude. Like
if you lose, yeah, it's a bad look.
Like AJ, he handed the belt over to Ruiz. Like, man, what type of goofball shit is that?
No, I think AJ just quit in the ring after he got knocked down. That's what I think.
Yeah, no, he did. He let's not say that. Let's just say he was looking for a way out because his shit got malfunctioned and he was like, time out, wait, and no time, man.
And he was so big, man. AJ was like bulked up. And I feel it because when you're that big, man, you be tired as hell after.
About muscular, right?
Yeah, when you that muscular, after throwing your hardest punches and shit, man, you gas like a lover. All right,
yeah, absolutely.
Done by now.
How much you guys think AJ walks around like just completely out of shape?
Out of shape?
Walk around at 250,
280.
Yeah, I was thinking around there, like 275. 275, because he's cut weight. I mean, like, literally, you guys cut weight. What did he get down for Usyk? Like 220, 225?
Which is ridiculous. That's a 245, 250-pound man at all times. Deontay Wilder should be 216, 217. You know what I'm saying? He shouldn't bulk up. And
I was mad that he did that in the third fight. But whatever. Whatever.
Yep. But look, guys,
because he was trolling him.
I agree. Look, this is what we're gonna do. We can come back on. Check. Will you be able to come back on after the fights?
I'm gonna make a run, so I'm actually gonna miss the fight because I'm gonna make a run. So I'll be back in about 2 hours.
Okay. I got Dobe gonna win this by I'm gonna say 11th round stoppage because I think that
Minnesota.
Yeah, you should go down there. Hicktown.
You know how
they're in Minnesota? They're in Minnesota?
Hickley.
Man, that shit is like 3 hours away from where
Hey, Jules.
Yes.
I don't have any faith in Nihao. I lost all faith in Nihao. He's too tiny. He's too tiny, man.
Yeah,
he's not even that good.
I mean, yeah. What is it? Neho. But no, I got Dobe. Nailed. Yeah, I got him winning this one tonight, though. Because, look, Joet has been a punching bag his last 2 fights. Let's be honest.
He sucks, man.
Yeah, he just got beat up. The only reason people know his name is because Shakur, said he's dating the sister. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know because, you know what I'm saying? But that's the only reason. So I got Dobe by 11th round stoppage.
Okay. I haven't decided. I may not even watch the fight.
Yeah, he played that. Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay.
Or I say maybe, like it's more than likely, but like I probably won't. If I miss it, I'm not tripping.
Yeah, but I'll check back in when I get back in.
All right, man. I'll send the link out and everything about 11:30 tonight. All right, guys.
All right, Steph.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, Artman.
All right.
Fellas. All right.
Yep.